like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And now, enjoy the stream from Darklycan81. Z out.
Yo. I love that.
That's not you, though, is it? That's not you.
No, that's one of the guys that's in the Discord.
Oh, do I know who is it?
I asked him to do a song for the 800, and then he sent me that, so I'm going to start using that. I quite like that.
I didn't know if it was you or if I didn't know if it was Lord Kratos. That's what I thought it was next.
It was Lord Kratos.
Is that who it was?
That's who it was.
Yeah, I thought it was one of you two because I clicked with these because he likes his Power Rangers stuff. He's got that big model, and is it the Green Ranger he's got? And he's out the full Ranger, and he. So I thought if it's not Baz, it's going to be him. I knew it. I'm like Rick.
No, I asked him to do a song for the 800 because he's quite a wizard at all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And then he come up with that, and then I was like, and then a couple of days later he says, "I've done this one for you if you want to use that for your live streams or whatever." And I was like, "Ken, what?" I says, "That's actually quite fun."
And to tell you what, though, to pick up that helmet as well for 30 quid, that's a bargain.
He started doing a lot of skits kind of things, so he's doing stuff. When he does his normal reviews, instead of him thinking he's been putting either one of the Ranger helmets on or one of the killing on his like the character kind of thing. Yeah, it's all fun. But the reason we got you on tonight is because me and you met up on Saturday. So
Bonnie, Scotland. And it was a nice day as well, wasn't it, for that weekend, really? Because he said he was going to throw it down, but it didn't really, did it?
I mean, it did start to rain on like before you dropped us off, but it never really cut me anything.
No. Yeah, it was good. We had a good time, didn't we? It was good. Good day out.
Well, at least
some of them shops are yours. It's like I said, I mean, I must have spent over £100 worth of stuff that I got for like 40 quid. Do you know what I mean? I got sold cheap and I was like, flipping heck, I'm coming here again.
Well, the main thing is that you wanted that Chun-Li figure.
Yeah.
And when we went to, after we finished with the boot sale, we went to leave-in kind of thing, and it's like, me and you kind of just, everybody else went and done their own little thing. We went right down to the toilet, and then it's like, there you go.
I couldn't believe it, yeah. Because like I said, we've got two giant B&Ms here, the big B&Ms, especially the one that's around the corner from my house. The one in town's not so big, but the one around the corner from my house is a big B&Ms, and yet they're never in, never see them. And the size come back with a Scottish accent, I am. So, but they did have the Surfer Mikey, so I did get that one. They did have, but again, only one.
Well, it kind of just shows you, it's like, where you've been up here, it kind of shows you what, like that B&M that took you to, and even the home bargains, it kind of shows you what stuff that we've got compared to what you've got doing your way kind of thing.
The only way I think I could put it was, it's because where you live, it's villagey, it's quiet, it's only the local people that shop there. It's not where I live in Blackpool. We get 2 million visitors a year to Blackpool. Do you know what I mean? So I think that, yes, they have been here, but they don't last long. They're in and they're gone.
It's just like
where you are, it's rural. It's like they could be there for a bit. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
It's like the B&Ms I took you to. That's just a small town kind of thing. It's leaving years ago, man. Leaving used to have like a nightlife and all that, but it's died down over the years.
Yeah.
And a lot of folk, when B&M's first opened, that was the first I'm sure that was either the first one or the second B&M store that opened up in Scotland.
Yeah.
So that was where everybody kind of went. But now that B&M's are like popping up everywhere, some folk kind of forget about that. So it's always,
I just put it on as that it's become like the new Woolworths. Do you know what I mean? When I was a kid, like Woolworths is where you got your figures from. It's where you got your things from and stuff. And I think that even your music and stuff. And I think that B&M's has become like the new Woolies. It's where you go for these sorts of things, isn't it?
But the good thing with like the B&M store, man, in the last maybe 5-6 years, it's got more and more collectible items in at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're into like the pops and that, I mean, you usually pay between 12 to 15 quid for just a normal size pop. you can go in there and get them for $4.99.
Yeah, I
You
saw
have
a few
some of
pots like price, yeah.
you have some of they do get like all the chases in, so it's crazy. Over the last year and a half, man, favorite kind of come out of COVID, man, B&M's is now starting to flourish again, and you go in and you're like, oh, I need that, oh, I need that, oh, why are they selling this kind of, and it's like, it's mental.
Yeah. I noticed with your multiverse as well, you have like quite a few different multiverses, where in our B&M's, it always seems to be King Shazam and Blight. That's it. That's all there ever seems to be in. Now and again, you'll get that Lex Luthor, but that is
It's weird
generally
because majority of the B&M's ruin my area, so you can go in there and 10 times out of 10, there's those two figures are always sitting there.
Yeah.
And I've kind of noticed they're now doing not the Balder figure one, but the one that comes with the arms, but you get the standalone one. It's the same figure, but it's just a different. It's like his face is different on Splite. Because I've got him on the shelf up there, and it does it. Even though it's a skeleton underneath the dome, it just looks different.
Yeah.
And it's the same with I can't remember what the other guy's name. The one that's got the white suit.
It's not Moon Knight, is it?
No, it's the one that you sent up. Remember,
Blight.
But it's the same with him. You get the unmasked one, man. Nobody's really wanting an unmasked version, are they?
No, that's the thing. It's the one I found really hard to get hold of was the Thomas Wayne Batman Flashpoint Batman, and it was the masked one. I got the unmasked one, but it was the masked one I was after. And God, you can't find that thing for love nor money, no matter where you look. Do you know what I mean? It's just nowhere to be found. Because I know what you mean. Some of the like the Keaton unmasked one, I didn't buy that because I didn't really like it. I like the Keaton Flash masked one. I thought that's a great figure, but the unmasked one, I thought no, I'm not a fan, so I didn't buy it. What I don't understand for McFarlane is why don't they just do two heads in the box? Why don't they just put an extra unmasked head in instead of a whole figure which is just unmasked? I don't know. It just always thinks to myself, why don't they just do that, like two heads in a box? So if you want it unmasked, you just swap the heads around. Because all these figures now, their heads pop off, don't they? And all of them. And
I think we discussed that on Saturday when we were looking at we were talking about something, and it's like it would make no, it was because we were in TK Maxx, and I says to, did you see the Batgirl or Batwoman? I think they wanted £6 for it.
Yeah.
But it's unmasked version. Why not just a figure that gives you the two heads so you can have the two options instead of having to buy two separate figures when it's the exact same sculpt? Only thing different, it's head.
I mean, in the beginning, I used to jump on that, but I've sort of slowed down with it. I don't really buy the unmasked versions now because I'm like, what's the point? Do you know what I mean? There's no. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you like the unmasked versions and you'd rather them or you like them both as each other, that's great. But for me, I'm like, over the years, I've like gone off unmasked figures.
It's
because
different if you're going to go for like the gold version or the platinum version. Because the platinum's the new gold for McFarlane, so some of the figures are quite hard to come by. But when I went and ordered those multiverse figures last week, I noticed today they've actually got the Batgirl that I picked up, but it's a platinum one, but it's on mass version.
Yeah,
I was kind of tempted to get it, but it's like, what's the point of having two of the same figures, only different as a head?
That's it. I just don't understand that. Like I said, they should really put the two different heads in the one box. Do you know what I mean? So then, and if they have to make it a £5 dearer, that'd be all right. I'd rather do that than buy two separate figures just because one's got unmasked.
Gerard. We have the lovely Claire.
I know that one.
I hope she enjoyed her little Harry Potter one.
Yeah, I told you I brought it home and I give it Claire and she set it straight on the Harry Potter shelf.
Dave. I don't know who this guy is.
As well. He's quite familiar. He looks familiar. Yeah, Mark would have filled his boots in that market of yours, Baz. He would have filled his boots. Let me tell you that.
The wee one should be in his bed. He's meant to be in school, but looks like he's popped on.
We went in there, and because the guy was so chatty because he starts telling me about a comic book background and his art and everything. You know me, that's my background. So we just started chatting. So all the time I'm spent in that shop, I was talking to this guy, and I've turned around and I've seen you like that in all the battles and everything. And I'm thinking, I want to be doing what he's doing, but I got stuck chatting to him. He's a really nice guy. Don't get me wrong.
The guy that you were talking to, Dave, man, he's really nice.
Yeah, he is. Really nice guy.
Some of his prices were kind of up and down, but if there's certain things you're after, he'll do deals with you like what he did with yourself.
Oh, I just kept thinking of like Scuba and VCR and people like that. Whereas as soon as we walked in, there's all them dinky cars and there's all that James Bond. I thought Smith Lord would kill for that James Bond collection he's got. And you know what? He had this gun. It was Tomorrow Never Dies gun. So I thought, I'll have a talk to him about that. See if I can get a bargain. See if I can pick it up for Chris. But like he wanted 70 quid for it. You know what I mean? He was like, and I like Chris, but not 70 quid.
You know, when you come in, you seen all the dinky cars and that. And then the guy was, you liked one of the canvases that he had.
Yeah.
A couple of months back, he did have all the Action Man James Bond stuff. And I was hoping he would have a couple there because
I keep forgetting about that first store. That guy had some mad stuff as well. Then as soon as you walk in, all that sort of Star Wars stuff and James Bond stuff again. But you know what? I was really surprised how cheap it was, though. I was like, surely they must know what they're selling. Do you know what I mean? But they were cheap.
Well, when I go, that's the same guy that got that Affy, the one for the Clone Wars, and he knew he'd sell how much he could actually get for it, but he didn't want to go through the hassle of putting it on eBay and then to send it down and blah blah blah. So I just seen it. You see something like that you never normally see, so it's like, how much you want for that? And he says 10 quid, and it's like, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, he's really nice. Have you never thought about asking him on? He's got some great stories to tell with his art and setting up that comic book. Then he got his figures made up years back before any 3D printing, any of that was done. He was telling me about he got all these little I can't remember what his comic was, something about this gerbil or something. But
I can't remember, but it's like a rock band kind of thing, and it's I mean, the little diorama he's got with the cage and then the 4 gerbils or 5 gerbils that's inside it, man, it's cool.
Yeah. And then, like, he's telling me that some of the lads he worked with have carried on through comics. Some of them are quite famous names now and stuff. And really interesting.
I was speaking to him because I kind of noticed it, and I thought there was something to say. He goes, "No, that's just for display purposes." But he was going to get it actually properly done in a comic book.
Yeah.
He's going to start selling them at on his stall kind of thing. I says, well, as soon as you let me know, I'll buy a couple of those, man, because the story that he kind of gave us, it was quite interesting and unusual.
Yeah. And that's the thing, to come up with things like that. And I said to him, do you not do it anymore? He said, oh, he just hasn't got the time, he said, so much anymore, but he's going to try and get back into it, get some of the old crew together. And
well, that's what he said to me.
Never left me.
It was a couple of months ago I was there, and we were talking, he's like, I said, you thought about getting this comic printed out? And he's like, well, I'm kind of working on it the now. He's got to kind of work out what it's going to cost and all that.
Yeah.
I said, I'd definitely buy a copy of that, man.
Yeah,
and you can fucking sign it, so at least I know I've got the right from him. It was all his idea and all that, man. It was something that he come up with when he was in his teens, he says, and it just he's got the original fucking script and story and all that. He's just never bothered putting it.
And that's the thing, you can't really say, oh, like if it's a comic about rock stars of gerbils, because at the end of the day, it was things like that back in the day that took off. I mean, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know what I mean? It was like, how'd you come up with this sort of thing? But people did, and it makes millions, doesn't it, if it hits off?
Well, as you can say, is that you're the proof that you can get bargains for 50p.
Baz, let me tell you, you do your show every week, and you get out your plastic bag, and you start pulling these figures out. And on behalf of me and the rest of the chat, we always go, how's he got that for £3? How's he got that for £1.50? But I can honestly tell the chat that I've been in the lion's den. And it's amazing. It's like tub after tub after tub. And they're just full to the brim. And like I said, I would have got right in there, but I spent the time talking to that guy half the time. But I did find, you know, the stuff that I don't own and stuff, and his collection's really good. And I did say that the next time I go to Rick's again and we meet up, Baz, this time I'll have we'll spend a good couple of hours in there. I'll have a really good look round.
Oh, I mean,
because it wasn't just like collectible stuff that we collect, is it? It was like everything. It's like my mum, she bought loads of this like really old fabric that she needed and stuff like that and stuff. And great place, yeah.
It's like the guy that you're talking to, man, he actually took over that boot sale because the other guy that was there, he was having issues with the owner of the building.
Yeah.
Thing. He didn't like it, so he ended up getting up, and I thought that was going to be the end of it, but Dave and his wife decided to take it on because it was a good little thing for the community, and it's like folk didn't want to leave kind of thing, so they two kind of took the boot sale over kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. When you pulled these out, now I can see exactly why. And I mean, the two guys that I met alone were, you could see with on the ball, they knew what they were collecting, they knew how much things were, they put things out, but everything was like, I mean, obviously they had, like before I said about that James Bond gun, they had some things that were worth a bit, obviously, you know, but a lot of the stuff that was in there was like really reasonably priced, you know. So I get now, like when you sell them big massive tubs, like figures, £1, £2, and some of the, you're talking NECA and you're talking Marvel Legends, and I was like, it's crazy.
He does have a lot of vintage Star Wars figures as well, man.
Yeah,
and they can start off for like £3 to £4, depending on the character. But there was a guy there last year, and he had a lot of vintage Star Wars figures, but he was overpriced. Man, he had the from Darth Vader there with no lightsaber, no cape, and he wanted like 25 quid for it. And it sat there for months and months. Nobody bought it, and nobody was actually buying anything off his stall, so I think he left.
Yeah, but if you overprice it, you're not going to get them buying, are you? Do you know what I mean? We all know at the end of the day how much some of these things are worth. And, you know, the thing is about vintage Star Wars, what I've learned, especially from this community, is there are certain things to look out for, do you know? And if they don't possess them things, it's what they're worth, 4 or 5 quid, picking up all day long.
He had a Power of the Force Jabba the Hutt. He wanted 12 quid for that.
12 quid?
12 quid. Because he had one off him months and months ago, man. He wanted 12 quid, and I said, how much would you take for that? Because I already bought a few bits off, and he's like, you can have that for a £5 if you want. And I was like, I'll take that any day for fucking 5 quid. Because sometimes you don't come across a lot of things.
No. I've just seen Salacious there in the chat. He would absolutely love where I've just been in that market, because he's another one that picks up and custom figures and things that are a little bit strange from others, and like Mr. Blobby collections and stuff. And like in there, he'd fill his absolute boots.
It's like the guy that we're talking about, Dave, man, he does have a lot of the knockoff figures that Salacious has been picking up, so he probably would have got more Pervy Johns.
Yeah. That's it. I think for the vintage side, the custom side, and people like that, they would love that place we've been to. It's just one of them places where you talk about little gold mines. It's one of them, isn't it? Really, it is genuinely a little gold mine.
As you always know, when we were younger and we used to go to the boot sale where parents and grandparents, man, it was like a treasure trove half the time. Boot sales nowadays are not like that, but you can still find bargains. You can still find fun and treasure for pennies.
I just don't. For me, I never think of them for a start. I never think of boot sales or car boots or anything. We used to have one in Blackpool every Sunday, but it got closed down. I think somebody bought the field. Hi, Stu. I'll see Stu this weekend. And that's it. I don't think there's any around here now. We used to have one on Windyke Farm, and like I said, I think the land got sold or something, and you don't do it anymore. So I don't know where the next ones are. It's
just like if you are definitely coming up for this toy fair that's at Errol.
Yeah.
And I was asking my dad about that, and it's like, where is it? And it's like, he says, you know where Errol is? He says, we used to go there with your papa. He used to take you to the big boot sale. And I was like, is that the one that's like one part was a market when they used to do the markets back in the day, and another part was like over 600 stalls for boot sales. man, it would take you about 3 hours just to walk right round the woman thing. So I don't know, and I know there is a big, massive building there. So I'm just wondering if they're doing the toy show in that kind of thing.
All I can say about Errol is that Rick sent me the message yesterday, and I thought, you know, what I'll have to think of that. So basically, I've said yeah, you've said yeah, Rick said yeah. We're just going to see what Dill says. If Dill's come in, then yeah, it's a definite on. And then we'll come up for it. Like I said, if Peaky wants to come up and stuff, I'll sort something out with Peaky so he can come up with me and everything. You know, because I remember him saying on your stream that he'd like to come up and meet you and stuff. But I think something like that is a perfect opportunity, isn't it? Because it's somewhere for us all to go, and you know, big toy fair like that.
I did know about the Errol Toy Fair, but I've never actually been yet.
No,
kind of thing. It's like this will be a good opportunity to see what it's actually.
I think what it was, Baz, I think Rick had such a good day out. I think Rick thought, I'm going to have a look to see if there's any more up and coming and stuff. And then he's found one like that, the one at Errol. So, yeah, if we can get there, that'd be great.
I enjoyed myself, man. It was nice meeting Rick. It was nice meeting yourself. It was nice meeting the amazing Anne Marie as well. And then we also got to meet Hazel, Rick's.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. They're all just like shabby, aren't they? They're all just the same, aren't they? They're all like, you know what I mean? There's no difference.
Even when we went to the boot sale, man, I know Rick's been there previously, but I think he was like, whoa, he got like a little bit shocked when he walked past Dave's stall and he's like, oh, I remember having that. Oh, I remember having that.
Yeah. But he said, he hasn't been there for a while. He said he went there like a few years, but he moved to Scotland. But it's been a long time since he went. Because obviously when he got there, Hazel was taking him here, there, and doing all the, you know, where you look at everything. But yeah, some fantastic stuff in that shop. I tell you what I bought in there just for the chat. The first thing I got was I saw this straight away, and I thought I've got to get this because I used to. It's funny how you can collect stuff and then new stuff comes out and you neglect what you collect. Like I was collecting these a lot, and then the multiverse come along, and I sort of put these on the back burner a lot. So lately, I've been trying to like pick these back up again, especially now they've gone to the prices they've gone to. So I found the Supergirl. That was at Dave's Pal stall. But again, in great nick. Do you know what I mean? For the year with this figure,
man,
really.
the thing with Dave, man, the stuff that he does sell, man, he does do a lot of the vintage packaging that you can tell over the years it's been thingied, but majority of the stuff that he does have, it's all brand new stuff.
Yeah.
He's after it, man. Because usually when I go there, he's like, I'll mention it's like, B&M's has got a sale on this, that, and that, because he does do a lot of Doctor Who stuff, and he has been going to B&M's and picking up when they're cheap. He might put a couple of quid on top just to try and make his money back, but that's what every trader or business kind of does.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Baz. If you ever invited him on a show to talk about art and the old comic book days, I'd love to come on that with you both, you know. Because, like I said, I was having a really good conversation, and he didn't ruin it for me. But what sort of stopped me from diving in was because I was just talking to this guy. But yeah, it'd be good if you had him on.
I kind of noticed because I was at the first stall I picked up a couple of comments. I just kind of turned around and I seen you. You must have seen the Star Wars stuff, and you kind of just like zoomed right down. And then when I walked past the two, you were talking about stuff, and then it's the first thing when I go to date, man, that's the first thing I do. I just kind of, because you never know what you can find.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of random toy.
Yeah, he had a few special edition Marvel Legends there as well, didn't he? Like that Psylocke figure he had. And yeah, he had quite a few tasty numbers, should we say.
But Dave's been he's been a collector for years, eh? So, I mean, he's got a big storage somewhere. And he just started like, when he first come there, he was just bringing bits and pieces.
Yeah.
He was just bringing the odd bits and pieces, and then he realised, oh, these are selling kind of thing, and then he started bringing more, and then more, and then now he's got what you seen on Saturday.
Monster says that Squire's Gate was always a good boot sale, but I don't remember Squire's Gate boot sale, pal. I don't remember it. I just can't remember. Squire's Gate's just around the corner for me. It's a long road. It takes you to the motorways. Everybody that comes to Blackpool drives on Squire's Gate as they come in. But I don't remember it, pal. I don't remember.
I know there's not a lot of boot sales nowadays, but it's nice that I've kind of got one locally. So on a Saturday or a Sunday when I'm off, or even a Wednesday when I'm off. I mean, I can pop along on a Wednesday, see what he's got. And if he's got anything decent, I'll just say, can you keep that to Saturday? And then I'll go on Saturday and pick it up.
Well, we was also there. Me and Baz, we picked this up for Stu because we thought Stu would appreciate this, and it reminded us of somebody that Stu knows well. So we did pick up Stu, which will look nice there, because I know he likes redheads. We know that, so I thought we'd get him a nice vintage My Little Pony. I'll give him that, the toy fair.
He'll be on this. He'll be cursing it like, you bastards.
He's got his collection of My Little Ponies. He has one. Shabby has one. Usual Mike has one.
Because he had quite a few, and I kind of looked and we had a laugh and a joke. I goes, "Oh, Stu would like this," and Henrik was like, "Okay, what? Oh, can you put that aside for me?"
Yeah, we'll get it in.
That was good. I mean, I really enjoyed Saturday, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like that when we meet up at these places. I mean, I'm new to all these meetups as well, as much as everybody else is. Do you know what I mean? And you get a little bit cautious, and you get a little bit like, I hope everyone's nice, and I hope they all like me, in the sense of. But I think what's kept this community going for the 4 years, Christmas now, where it's coming up to, is people do generally get along, and we do generally have the same thing in common, the same sense of humour. We like the same sort of franchises and the same sorts of things. Not everyone's going to get on. I'm not, you know what I mean? No way is everyone going to get on. It's just the nature of the beast. But on average, a good 90%, people do generally get on. And I mean, I went to Dublin. Honestly, my Claire loved it that much in Dublin. As soon as we came home, she started booking it all again. Do you know what I mean? She had a great time, and that was all thanks to the people that were there. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're only in another city that looks like every other city.
Right.
But the people that were there were so nice to us. We had such a great time. And, you know, I'm on about Orange. You meet Gerard for the first time. Absolute brilliant. You meet Miriam. Fantastic. Jonathan Redmond. Fantastic. Connor. All of them. Connor's wife. Just every one of them. Brilliant. And my client, she doesn't go to these sorts of things. She's not really interested in it. But she had a fantastic time because of the people we met up with. And it's the same for Echo. I don't collect vintage Star Wars, but I go to Echo because, again, the people have such a good laugh, and it's so sound, and I like having a drink with them all after and stuff. And, you know, everyone has a really good time and stuff. So it's not really about what you can find, what you can pick up, how much you're going to spend. You know, it's about just going having a nice time, meeting up with the people you talk to all week. And, you know what I mean? See you again in 6 months.
Well, yeah, you do have a new fan. Because he was so appreciated that what your mum and you did and your mum did and Rick did.
Oh, it's a great little kid though. But like I said, you talk about that lad every week.
Oh,
every time you come on here, you talk about him. Every single week you do. So meeting him, it was like I knew him. Oh, I know what you are. Do you know what I mean? So did my mum. Do you know what I mean? Because my mum watches these shows and stuff, and she was the same. Like, oh, we know who he is. You talk about him every week. And he's a great kid, don't get me wrong, Baz is a right nice little boy, you know what I mean? And what did he get? He got me this, didn't he?
I got you the little. He was going through some toys, and he's like, I just happened to, I say like Batman and all that, and he's like, well, I got this. He says, give him that kind of thing, eh? So
yeah, nice of him. That'll go straight on the shelf next year. Brilliant. Yeah, Batman, #1 favourite.
He's been going through some of his stuff that he's no needing anymore, and man, I have taken a few bits off him because it's like you don't really want to get rid of them kind of thing. But he was going through because he's trying to do what I do, Simon. He wants to put stuff on the walls, he wants to put stuff on shelves, and it's kind of funny because
as a kid, you must walk in your room and think, "Oh my God, I want mine like this." You know what I mean? You must do.
It's kind of funny because my sister says he's actually turning into a mini you. He's like your mini me.
Yeah.
Whatever you've got, he wants kind of thing.
But the thing is, Baz, there's nothing wrong with what you're showing him. So good to have a collection. It's good to keep focused. It's good to have a love of things. Good to have a passion. You know, I mean, all them things point to good stuff. Do you know, in all the years, I mean, I've never not collected my entire life. I can't remember any time in my life that I've not collected at least something. And I can honestly say I've never given a shit what anyone has to say, ever. If they've got something to say about my collection, well done. Who's that, on me or you? It's my money I'm spending. It's my collection. It's in my space. What the hell's it got to do with anybody else? You know, so.
True. Very true.
My brother says it as well, Mark Shabby. He said it a few times on here, and it always stuck with me when he said, you know, I talk to people on here and I don't give a shit whether they've got one figure or they've got 10,000 and everything there is to get. You collect and you're into something, you belong in it all. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't matter about how much your collection's worth or how much stuff you've got. It matters how much you love it and your passion for it and are you involved. And that's what I agree with Mark for that.
It's like everybody that I know in this community, we all collect different things. I know majority of us, it's all Star Wars. We've all got Star Wars figures. But there is, for me, there's lines that I've got that maybe you guys maybe it's like, oh, that's actually quite weird. Why does he collect that kind of thing? I mean, I like anything action figure kind of thing. I mean, I started picking up those, what were the crowd again? I've got it fucking. My brain just went. I started picking up the alternation figures. I seen Pixel Dan from and reviewing them, and it's like they are cool. I say, I wonder if we'll ever get them. And then as soon as I seen them in the shops, I was like, "Can what? That's mine," because they kind of remind me of like the old 90s toys because they've all got gimmicks. They've all got gimmicks. They're all chunky and weird and thingy. And that's where
that's the point. It's about stuff that the nostalgia is, and you know what reminds you of things you loved as a kid, and that's the reason why we collect these things. I mean, I don't really class what I collect anymore. I mean, yes, they are action figures, and yes, they're all this and that. But if they were really specifically aimed at children, they wouldn't have a price tag that they come with. And why does every one of them come with a display stand? You know what I mean? Kids for toys to play with would not necessarily have a display stand or a flight stand or things you can. They're really meant because they know really the generation of the over 35s and above are basically the generation that buy these figures. They are. I mean, I watched thousands of YouTubers like we all do, and they've all got the same collection behind them, and they've all got Marvel Legends and everything else from years back and stuff, but they're also over 40. Do you know what I mean? So you don't really necessarily see any young kid doing it. Do you know what I mean? And I just think with the new train sets, like the 20 years before, Mike, when I was a kid and you'd go around people's collection rooms, they'd all have train sets, wouldn't they? And it'd all be like that. I think we're just the new generation of that. No more train sets anymore, but we do have our still.
I know somebody that does have a train set because I think he picked one up. Was it last year? Because he had it as I think he had it when he was younger.
Who's that?
Your brother Shabby. It's the one that goes around the Christmas tree.
Oh, bloody him and his Christmas tree trains. He loves them.
But we do have somebody coming in tonight. So Ian wanted to pop on. He's been on there for a while, but he's been picking up a few bits and pieces as well. So he wanted to kind of show me. And I says, "Well, just come on the live stream and kind of show them off." So I'll bring Ian in.
Is he here now?
He's here now, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, boy. How are we?
Good afternoon, Ian. You all right?
Not too bad, Si. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, pal. Your beard's coming on. Oh, your beard now.
So you survived Scotland then?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, only just. Oh, listen, my other half's Scottish, so I know all about them lot.
You can hit me backside as normal. So yeah, funny. I was just listening to the conversation there, and it's interesting what you say, Si, about of our generation, sort of between.
Yes, just when I remember, like when I was a child, and like you'd go to your uncle's house, or you'd meet your uncle's friends or your dad's pals and stuff, and they always seemed to have a train set. It was in the loft, and he'd go upstairs, and it'd all be set up, and there'd be this Hornby running, and it'd be amazing. And then over the years, that seemed to have dwelled. And our generation, for us, we haven't picked that up. We haven't jumped on the train set bandwagon. But what we have done is jumped on things that we had as children. So necessarily, I think, 20 years down from us, are they going to be interested in the things that we collect? Because to me, it says not really. Because we weren't interested in that train station setup. So why would the 20 years from now they be interested in our toy setup? They wouldn't, would they? I think specifics people would, and you certain collectors would, obviously.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
But how much of that would be like vast like it is today? Like, I'm not so sure.
I mean, the hobby now, I mean, talking, you know, because I'm a railway enthusiast myself, and I will get back into the railway modelling at some point. But
Yeah.
I hunt around eBay for bargains. But I'm thinking, if you're new to the hobby, as in brand new, you're not going to have a hope in Hades of getting into it, because a decent Hornby model now, if it's brand new or Backman, it's going to set you back about 200 quid for an engine. You know, who's got that kind of money for that? You know.
And that's the thing, and I suppose if that's for your bog standard, how much are your exclusive sets going to be, or the trains that were hard to get hold of, or things that are really rare now in the Corgi field and the Hornby field? They must be so expensive, you know. You must be talking at least.
I was cursing myself because one of my models fell during the move, as happens, and it broke. So I thought, you know what, I'll go and try and find a replacement. I won't bore you with the specifics of the model, but I looked online, and to get basically the equivalent model again, it would, as I say, because it was a rare one, was about 300 quid. I'm like, for heaven's sake, you don't need to get cheap. You know, you don't need to get cheap nonsense. But you know, at the same time, you're thinking, you know, you should be able to replace these things if they go a bit wrong, as occasionally happens.
You just have to be more careful, Ian. You just have to be more careful next time.
I blame the removal men, because they were all in boxes and everything, you know, packed up and everything. But such is life. But yes, most of my hobbies have come from sort of parents and grandparents. I mean, most of what I'm about to show off in a moment, will be coming from my dad, because my dad was the one that got me into Jerry Anderson.
Yeah.
And obviously all of his stuff obviously has directly come from Dad. And obviously I have most of those sets as a child, and I've gradually been rebuilding them back up again, because obviously over time, you know, they break or they just disappear, as these things tend to do sometimes. So we'll start off with some non-Jerry Anderson stuff, some very modern stuff actually. Oh, where are we?
Is this you've been buying from this famous site again, Ian?
Yes. I'm blaming you for this one, you know. So we'll start with this. The lovely Marvel versus Pack of Thor, a 1:16 scale, I believe. I'd say very nice. Haven't got it out of the box yet, but if anybody in the chat knows about this line.
Just making big bass, so I can just see that. I just can't see it a minute.
Here you go. How's that?
Oh, there it is. There you go. That's it. Oh, it's nice, are you?
Yeah.
I have actually been looking at those, Ian. And I was kind of wondering how big they actually were. I didn't really. The box is actually quite chunky.
Not bad for the price I paid. I haven't checked out the quality yet, because I haven't got it out of the box. But if I just show you the back here, there's about 4 or 5 in the set from what I can gather.
Yeah.
As I say, looks okay for what it is. You know, I paid £10 a piece for these from the aforementioned shop.
So like that website is getting too dangerous.
Is that the same one you've been on, Baz, getting all that stuff in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it?
It's like every Tuesday, you get the notification. Oh, this is on. This is on. You'll have a wee look, and you're like, oh, geez,
That's the thing. Cheap sites you spend loads on.
Big cat. Sorry, if you see my cat floating around, yeah, I apologize. Right, as a starting point to be 1960s nod, I picked up these guys. First, Captain America. Obviously, very much a nod to the 1960s sort of era of Cap, obviously. I must admit, I do like the colouring on this. It's quite a nice bright blue without being ridiculous.
Well, I ended up picking that figure up as well. I thought I already had that one for the retro collections, but never. I ended up picking that one up.
That one was, I believe, a time £6.
Brilliant. Bargain.
Oh, man, if you actually use that site size, especially when they start getting next couple of months when they're leading up to Christmas, they always get good stuff in. You end up
Well,
spending.
I like to pick up the Marvel retros, but I'd like to pick them up when they are cheap. You know, I don't like to pay full whack for them.
So this is Iron Man from the same line.
That's a nice Iron Man, that one.
Again, I agree with you, Si. Probably okay when they're going a bit on bargain, but I wouldn't pay full price for them if I'm being absolutely honest.
Yeah, there's something a bit like, I went into Asda and I saw the Wolverine, and it was the Chris Claremont one, you know, the brown and the yellow outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And all the rest of them were like $5.99, $4.99. And when I got to the counter, it was £14. And I was really like, but I just bought it, you know, as you do. So
exactly. So, I mean, I am going to get the others from that line, but when they go cheap.
Yeah.
Your best place, if you want to start getting into that, Ian, the best place to go is Game. Because Game have got a ton of them reduced. You're paying probably maximum maybe £6 for some of them.
I paid next week, so right. While we're in Marvel mode, before we move away from Marvel, that's the other one I got, which is the Loki.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they are nice then, and they're £10.
Yeah, they were £10 when I paid them. They might have gone up. They might have gone down now. But,
yeah,
no, I think they're still £10 because
I'm looking for a statue like that for £10.
They do the DC ones because they've got a weird looking Catwoman.
Yeah, I saw that one as well. To be fair.
They've got the penguin, but it actually looks like a penguin size. But it's man, they're quite, but they're £20, man. But if you actually go online to look for them, and they're usually about £50 to £60 for these statues.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tap into the Power Rangers Lightning Collection for a moment. In case anybody in the chat's not aware, Cosmic Fury is out tomorrow. 30 years of Power Rangers, so that should be good fun. So the first Lightning Collection picture I picked up.
Did you get Mythagog?
Is Mr. Mesogog from Power Rangers Dino Thunder. As I say, that season was very good. The figure looks okay, as I say. But obviously with Hasbro and their quality control issues, who knows? I might find out when I open the box what happens.
Yeah.
They
better get back to the window boxes, man, the better, man.
I was going to say, talking of the window boxes, from our very good friend Mark Spark, I picked up my first Jetty figure, which is Catherine.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I need to get my hands on that. I need that one at the moment.
I think did they know they two Pink and Jetty Rangers? You did.
Yes, they did. One for Kimberly, one for Kat.
There you go, Si. There's another mission for you to get another two.
I've seen. There's that one. And there was one that was like a crossover with Cobra Kai.
Yeah,
I've got to get that one as well.
That figure line has not gone down well. Let's put it that way.
I only buy Pink Rangers, Ian. I got sent a couple of Pink Rangers a couple of years back, so I just started to collect all the Pink Rangers up.
Yeah, well, our very good friend Mr. Peaky Arrow, he started with I'm only going to go and collect the villains, and then I'm going to do this, and then and then like everybody else, he just fell down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So talking of Dino Fury, Pete's backing in. Dino Fury Blue.
Oh, nice.
Nice one, yeah.
For tomorrow, obviously. I won't spoil the speculation that's going around online at the moment.
So my hanging, where are you going to put all these?
Well, I have a new unit which I'm still organising. Right, times straight back into our conversation about retros. One moment. The old crate here.
Watch your arm on that corner. Don't cut your arm.
This was a real charming little find. £2.50. a little Thomas the Tank Engine cup.
Hey, I thought he was going to say Peter Rabbit then. I remember Peter Rabbit cups like that.
But
Nice.
yeah, it's in surprisingly good nick actually for his age.
Just be
Yeah.
careful with that.
What was that? Sorry, Baz?
I'm saying just be careful with that, especially with whiskey running about.
Oh God, yeah.
I just want me 1 second. My cat's just going mad at the back door, so I'm just going to have to go and throw him out. He's going berserk. Be 1 second.
Don't worry. Gives me a minute to get these figures out anyway.
Oh, I didn't know you could do a mental health first aid qualification.
Yeah, of course you can. My wife is saying hello to everybody in the chat.
Hi.
We'll just get these figures out while we wait for Mr. manafandanga to come back.
So you've been buying more of the Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet stuff?
Yeah, you'll see in a moment. Thanks, cat. 1 moment, sorry. The cat's caught the button.
Which one is that? Is that whiskey or is that the other one?
That is whiskey. There. Whiskey, stop pressing buttons and
Hang on, how could you get the White Crystal Flavor on?
because
I'm sure
I was
that's
playing
smarter
it
than what
earlier
I
when the
think
cat
it is,
started to press the button. Rather
He's been
healthy.
watching you too much. He knows exactly what buttons to press.
Oh yes, as kittens tend to do.
Well, gentlemen.
Right. Okay, because I've now got, it hasn't arrived yet, but I've now got all three of the, let me just adjust the headphones slightly. There we go. I've now got all three of the major play sets from the 1990s, Captain's Tracy Island, Marienville, Spectrum.
What was your favourite Jerry Anderson show, would you say, Ian? What was your favourite?
Now that's a tough choice.
For me, it was always Joe 90. I absolutely loved Joe 90. Loved it.
Joe 90 had it had a moment. It had its moments. Joe 90, but it was a bit. You could tell it was coming towards the end of the Superman Nation sort of era.
Yeah.
Secret Services, by the way. On a quick note, that was very underrated for what it was. But if you ask me for my favorite, I'd say Captain Scarlet.
Captain Scarlet was fantastic, wasn't it? The beginning, I used to
it
love.
always annoyed me that it never came to a proper end. If that makes sense.
Shabby, my brother, I know his favourite was always Stingray. He loved Stingray, Mark. He loved it.
Yeah, but funnily enough, the first figure I picked up, and this one is a very difficult one to get hold of for some reason, best known to man.
Oh, you got Marina.
Oh, yeah, that's really good. Aquamarina.
Yes, that famous end sort of credit. You know, one of the best of the Jerry Anderson music, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's just stick to the same one. We've got Titan, the villain.
Oh, nice. Did I not send you one of them up? I can't remember.
You sent me a Captain Black and a Lieutenant Green, I believe. So that was very much appreciated. Yeah, well, I got a spare Captain Black because it was in the same lot. Well, I'll just show it off anyway.
Yeah, you can't have too many of the same character, though, man. Especially if you get the vehicles. Or the
vehicles are next on my list, I'll be honest. I'm sorry, rephrase that. The Captain Scarlet vehicles next one's on my list. I've got the Thunderbirds ones, obviously. So I'll just show that one off very quickly. Not bad sizes for what they were, actually, considering.
Yeah.
Then we've got the main man himself.
Captain Scarlet.
Remember, kids, he's indestructible. You are not. That's what he used to say on the on one of the thingies, because obviously they had a bit of a problem with kids thinking they were indestructible.
Brilliant.
The Commander-in-Chief of Spectrum himself, Colonel White.
These
you
are great
remember-
figures. Are these new figures?
No, that's the 90. Was it 96?
90. Well, early part of the 90s to the mid part of the 90s. Let's just accept that. Whiskey, you have to show off your backside to the entire world. Seriously.
Yes.
No decor in that cat. Then we've got Captain Blue, voiced by the brilliant Ed Bishop. Would later go on to be in. I'll get this one wrong in a minute. I'm sure it was either. I'm sure it was UFO. I'm sure the guys in the chat will correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was UFO.
I think it was UFO.
Then we've got the Terror Fish from Stingray.
Yeah.
Is that the diecast ones, Ian?
Yes. Needs a bit of a clean, but yes, it's not bad condition, all things considered. And then finally, Sam Shaw, the obviously the commander of Marinebill.
Oh, nice. He's
It's a nice
another.
little collection. Yeah, it's a nice little collection, all them together.
He's another hard one to find, isn't he, Ian?
Yeah, he I'll put him down in a minute, but he, for some reason, is going for about 30 to 40 quid by himself.
Was he no a mile away, that one?
What was that, sorry?
Was he no a mile away? So kind of was was he a Captain Scarlet or it was Stingray? There was one figure that you could only get if you collected so many of the points on the back of the cards.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember now which one it was. But yeah, I am now only missing from the Stingray line anyway. Phones.
See you at midnight, babe.
That's the second in command of the Stingray, isn't it? That's
Yes.
Troy's
And he
navigator.
is very difficult to find. I can't get him for under 35 quid at the moment.
I knew I can't
Yeah.
hear you. I'll keep my eyes and my ears open.
As I say, I now only need 4 or 5 of the Captain Scarlets because there's still several left of them to go. But then I've obviously still got plenty of the Thunderbirds to go because there's how many of them to go. I mean,
Well, I don't want to bust your bubble, Ian, but you do realise there's another line of Captain Scarlet figures. They're actually
Yes, right.
it's the 5-inch ones as well.
I know.
Are they hard to find now? Are they hard to pick up, the ones from the 90s? Are they...
Well, some ones, like for example, Captain Black, Captain Scarlet, they're quite reasonably common.
Yeah.
As are, well, I'd say most of them are pretty common. For some reason, though, it just seems to be 1 or 2 that just very rare. I mean,
Well, the majority of the ones I've seen up to you, I think I've seen quite a few
Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds. Man, I was finding them every week. I was finding at least 1 or 2 every week, man. It was
Yeah, I mean, from what I can gather of the line so far, anyway, this is in my experience. Other people obviously may think differently. Scott, Alan, and Jeff, they're very easy to find. Virgil's reasonably easy to find, but not quite as easy. John is slightly more tricky. Brain you can pick up anytime. The Hood is the same. But it's a mixed bag considering it's all from the same line.
I could remember the last time we were on the Discord chat and we were discussing that. I think one of the bundles you were looking at, I think was there no 3 hoods in the one bundle. And it's the first time you've seen that. It's mental that this person had 3 of them, and usually he's not hard to find, but he's one of those weird ones.
I mean, I've recently been looking into the Thomas the Tank Engine ones from the 90s because I had most of those as the 80s and 90s. The Herzl, the ones I mean anyway. And again, similar thing, Bad. You'll pick up a job lot of whatever, and you'll find because you need say 1 or 2 from the job lot, but then you will end up finding something like 5 Jameses and 3 Henrys and 4 Thomases and 6 God knows what else.
Yeah. My nephew used to collect them. He used to have a really vast collection of Thomas the Tank engines. So he used to have loads of them. You know, the little metal ones that they used to do.
Yeah, those are the ones I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a beautiful shed with them all in, but you know, it's one of those.
And he was born in 1996, so it been around probably 2000, 2001. These were out probably.
Yeah. Because they did. I've spotted them. They did them in sort of 3 major tranches. There was sort of the first batch, which was sort of done sort of very late 80s, early 90s when it was really in full swing. Then the second batch sort of came out about, again, I could be wrong. Hopefully the chat will correct me. The second batch came out sort of about mid 90s, and then the last major batch came out about, as you say, about 2000, 2001 ish. Because I've been looking at the dates on the toys as I've been getting them, so that seems to be the sort of the things.
I do think it's fantastic that, you know, I mean, I'm a massive fan of Batman 66. I've always loved Batman 66. It was my first introduction to Batman, and I just adore that show to this day. But I always find it amazing, a bit like Jerry Anderson. Like Jerry Anderson, all these years later, we can still buy products for it and buy franchises and keep your collection going. And I've loved that. Like, you know, these are getting on now, these franchises. They're over 50 years old, aren't they? And
oh, yeah. I mean, the next one on my list is another very old one, and I need to get some for my collection at some point. Is Star Trek. I've obviously been into me Trekkies, been Trekkies since I was a kid, and like you said, top of my list is sort of an NCC 1701 original. But as you say,
I'd love one of them. Yeah.
Well, when you can just start showing stuff off, I'll show what I picked up at the boot sale. I mean, I never picked up more. It was more just to take inside there to see what, to be proof that it does exist and stuff.
Yeah.
I ended up picking up. I did show these off last night on John's stream, but I did pick up some comics.
Ooh, okay.
So that's the Dark Claw. That's the Wolverine Batman crossover.
Yeah, that's the one where Wolverine's basically Bruce Wayne and Joker.
Yeah, they were good then. Got a few of them comics.
I think I've actually already got this one, Sae, but when I seen it, I was like, I'll just pick up anyway.
I've done that before now. Bought comics or whatever, got them out and realised.
If you think about it, man, it's like Jubilee's meant to be Robin in this.
Oh.
So that is, man. And then I'm sure I've got one of these here, but I'm not too sure which one I've got. But and then
nice find, anyway.
And then talking about Wolverine, I got Return of Wolverine.
It's a great cover, that.
And I got Satan 6. I've never heard of that one, so.
No, I'd heard of the name, but I never actually read any of them. So I'll be interested to hear your opinion.
You've got the Immortal Hulk.
Oh yes,
that's a cool cover.
Ooh,
Hulk, yeah.
Now we're talking.
It's actually weird, man. I bought these on Saturday, and I don't even think I actually showed you what I actually got. And then I ended up picking up I think this is from 98, WWC Goldberg from 98.
Okay.
Looks like you as a figure, Baz.
I was actually half expecting him to swap the head over with the
cyborg for the wee one. I still need to gill me, like.
Yeah, cyborg. Yeah, cool. Look at Connor's comment here. That's funny.
And then we went to B&M's. I'm too excited B&M's because I wanted to get his Chung Lee, and Anne Marie and Sai got me this as a gift.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
It gives you two options to actually display it in a box if you want to display it with a like that or like that.
That's
which way are you going to have it?
I could put together, to be quite honest.
I thought you'd have had that open by now, Baz, on the shelf.
No, I've just fair finish.
He needs to find space for it in amongst his 500 billion Harleys.
Oh,
yeah.
And then after that, we went to Home Bargains, didn't we? And so I kind of seen this sign on the shelf, and I was like, should I get it? Should I know? But It's
I'm
just
not
like
into Funko, but that's pretty cool. I must admit the shark. So
I'm not.
Yeah.
This is the second one I've picked up, but it's a board game as well, you know. So it's
It's that Quint figure. That Quint figure looks great, doesn't it? At the top, it looks just like him. It's for Funko. It looks great.
yeah, Funkos are a weird one. They're either very, very good or very, very strange.
And I managed to find the last Alternations figure that I needed to finish off the wave. So I got Albert.
What a brilliant name, Albert.
Yeah.
I think this guy is half monkey and half Toro Bravo Bull.
Okay.
Oh, that's Shabby Geek.
So I'm quite happy with it. About that. I did bump into Si on Sunday up Dunfermline. So when I was going up Dunfermline to go to HMV, so I've been looking at this figure for a while. So now I finally picked her up.
Yeah, it's a great figure, that.
And it was kind of fun because me and Si was talking about these figures on Saturday. And
Yeah. The thing, I watched that film and I really enjoyed it. And now I've seen these at £10. I'm like, shall I pick them up? This is a thing. I mean, when the Dungeons and Dragons was my favourite ever cartoon. So they were, I waited 40 years for the Mother figures to come out. So I got every one of them as soon as they came. But I've been looking at these a lot more and I'm thinking, are they worth picking up? There's not many, is there?
I picked this up.
I'll be honest, guys. I've watched the films but never seen the TV series. Do you think it's worth a watch?
Oh, it's my favourite ever TV series. I love it. That cartoon show in the 80s.
I couldn't resist the Joker.
Yeah, that's cool, yeah. Nice
I was going to say, this is you were talking about, Baz.
Oh, and then before I bumped into Si, I ended up. We did see these on Saturday, didn't we, Si?
Yeah.
I never picked up and I kind of regretted it. So I went back yesterday to see if I could find one and I did.
Yeah, nice little set, that.
Even just for a £5, just for the wee bike, and you can customize.
Well, that's it. I mean, God, you could, even if you didn't like it as it was, you could customize that bike all day long, couldn't you? And at £5, what you ruin? Nothing.
See, I don't know if I'd be in scale with the G.I. Joes or no. Kind of thing. Maybe.
Well, they're that size figures, aren't they? They're 3.75.
I think so, aye. But like on the Sunday as well, I mean, I managed to find another Beastman just sitting on a shelf.
Great figure, that, isn't it? Really is.
Yeah,
and do you know what? I think I've got it. All are they called Revolution? They are, aren't they?
That's the Revelation ones, yeah.
Yeah, Revelation, sorry. Well, I kept seeing loads of them in Smiths for like a £5, and everywhere I was going, they were knocked down to £5. So I picked a few up, but I can't remember which ones I got. Apart from Scareglow. No, I got Scareglow.
Yeah, I come home on Monday to this.
She's waiting to work next week. Every time the boss says something, press it. Sorry, boss, can't hear you.
Well, what you need to do is when you get promoted to supervisor, you need to walk in as Darth Vader to the Imperial March.
I'm sure Mark has that helmet. I'm sure he does. I'm sure I've seen it.
When I showed
it, yeah, I thought he does.
It's like between Home Bargains and B&M's had these size. So now I've kind of got the full wave. So I've got Doctor Strange. That one was I got to try and find, but I managed to find him. I don't know why he was so hard to find, but then I got. Man, the face got.
I haven't seen Black Adam yet. I'm going to have to get on my backside and watch it at some point.
I'll tell you what, Ian. People didn't rate it, but I watched it a few weeks back, and I can honestly say I really did like it. I thought it was a good, and the way they did Dr. Fate was brilliant. I really did enjoy it, mate. I thought it was good.
You're talking about toys for £1. They were selling these, so.
Oh, I saw that. I was tempted by that one. I must admit, you might have persuaded me to go and get one.
Yeah, it's a nice figure, that.
Oh yes, I looked at that one and thought,
And I got
that is Tim Drake Robin, yeah, mint.
I do actually. I quite actually like that one, Si.
Yeah, it's a great figure.
Is that the one from Gotham Knights, by any chance?
That's a Gotham Knight ones, aye. I'm not finished. And also, these also come as well. I don't know if you've seen these or no, Ian, but I picked these up as well.
Okay. Out of interest, Baz, how many lines you've actually got now?
Pass.
I think you don't really see it as lines, do you, Baz? You buy what you like, don't you? That's cool, that one, isn't it?
This one's actually got a little bit from a weight to it, but I think it's just these armor.
If you ever need space, Baz, don't worry. I'll take that Castle Grayskull you've got above your head off your hands.
And then also got.
I like that one.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I spent a fortune over the weekend, man.
I was looking on Toys for a Pound earlier. All I'll say is thank goodness I don't get paid till next week.
Yeah.
See, there is one good thing about that Toys for a Pound is it because it uses a is it Kama? You can either pay it in free from settlements, or you can pay in 30 days. So if you don't have the money and there's something on there that's like I need, just press the button.
Wait it open. Yeah.
Just sing it, and when you get paid on Friday, just pay it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Shall we ask in the chat what you're buying him for his birthday this year, Manga?
Oh my goodness gracious. Ooh. Well, I do know one thing with Mark. We was talking, and as you know, Mark collects Motu. He collects Master of the Universe and stuff. And there's a new thing coming out. And on October the 14th, which is the day after our birthday, it gets revealed what it is. So I don't know. I mean, I want that Attack Track to come out because I'm going to be buying the Filmation figures next year, and I'd love that to go with it. So I'd like that to come out.
Oh yeah.
But I did say to Mark, whatever it comes out with, I'll put towards that for his birthday. Because I'm a good brother, me, Ian. I'm a good brother.
Oh, I'm definitely going to do that.
Would he agree with that?
Well, the question should be, Ian, what's he getting me for my birthday? Considering he can't forget, we're on the same day. I wonder what he's going to buy me.
That's the thing, is it what you need inside?
I'll be lucky. Off him, I'll be lucky.
I don't know if you spotted this, guys, but they've also got the Batgirl collection from the same.
Aye, that got put up late last night. Yeah, I am tempted to get it, but it's the exact same figure that I've already got. The only thing different, it's the platinum edition.
Yeah. The one I jumped on last night was that Joker, the sketch Joker that's come out, the Killing Joke one. I had to jump on it. I was a
little bit confused, I'll be honest.
That Joker that's a work of art, man.
Yeah, it's this things like the Killing Joke, anything to. I mean, the Killing Joke Joker is what got me into comics and artwork and everything from the beginning. It was that comic book.
I must admit, I do want the Killing Joke. Try saying that when you're drunk.
Stephen, we were actually in last week, Si. I mean, I should have picked up weeks ago, and I didn't. But B&M's was actually selling Death in the Family Joker, and I should have picked it up.
Yeah, the mask on, the face mask.
No, this was just it was just a standard Joker, but it says it was a Death in the Family Joker, so I don't know what they actually meant. But to me, the Death in the Family is the one with the face mask.
His own face mask. Yeah. That's the Death in the Family one. It might have been the original Death, because that's Death in the Family, isn't it? And it's Death of the Family. There was a new one that came out by Capello and Snyder, so it's one or the other, yeah.
Death in the Family is the iconic one where obviously Robin passes away.
Yeah, so it'll be that Joker, the more original. Like if you said it was like a normal looking Joker, it would have been that one, wouldn't it? Yeah.
That's where we were in B&M's on Saturday. I was trying to see if I could find that, but I was hoping maybe they would have had it, but I'll get it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Every time I go to B&M's, I always have a look at the DC stuff to see exactly what new stuff they've got.
Yeah, the thing is with DC, there's a figure. The first figure that they did was called the Grim Knight, and it's a Batman with loads of guns. And as you know, with the multiverse, they took the guns out eventually. So this figure was quite sought after, but also because it was the first one.
Yeah.
And honestly, I cannot find that figure for love nor money. Now, the thing is, this came out in 2020, so it's only 3 years old as it is. And you go online and everybody's 100 quid, 150 quid. But I know somewhere in some little shop that sells figures and some little quiet place like your Market Bass, things like that, I'm going to find it. Do you know what I mean? At a very good price.
It would be
So-
funny, Si, if you go to this, where you go to the toy fair on Sunday,
Mm.
and the next thing you know, they'll be like, "Look what I've just found."
Oh, listen, if I found it, I'd be over the moon. Let me tell you, I would.
If you
I
keep
mean, you're right
thinking,
there.
if
You're
you
right
keep
about
thinking
the
about
picture
it,
there.
it will appear.
Yeah. See, another one was I was after a Biker Scout, an original Biker Scout carded, best condition I could. Because as a kid, that Star Wars figure was my favorite ever figure. Now, that was a grail of mine for a long time, but Andy at Hollow Chronicles, he sourced me one, he got me one, and it's absolutely immaculate. And the price I paid him, to be fair, he did me such a great deal. So that was a grail finished with. You know, I still own my G1 Megatron from a kid, all boxed. So, that's my favorite ever thing. So there was certain things. I mean, there was a Deathstroke I was after from the multiverse, but Shabby managed to track that down. He found it on some little site in North Carolina, fully boxed, you know. So I know you can find them. Eventually, they do come your way, don't they? They do.
They do. I mean, my Spectrum set, which is on the way, which should be here within the next couple of days, is a classic example of that. Because, when I looked a few months ago, you couldn't get it for under 60, 70 quid. So I thought,
Yeah.
you know what, I'll hold out. And I managed to pick it up. I don't think the seller realised what they had, to be quite honest. But managed to get it for 20. So
Sometimes
That's really
it's actually worth doing the waiting game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But look what's happened this time, Baz, when we went to Scotland and this weekend. All the bargains I've picked up because of the sake of that waiting game, where I don't really want to jump on that now and pay full price, but I've seen it, and then eventually it's like £6 from 28 quid.
It's like you got Howard the Duck for £6. You got
Yeah.
Hush. You got the Hush for fucking.
Howard the
Dinner.
Duck, of course.
Well, that's it. But the point is, it was a £28 figure. So when you see it here, I mean, it was cut down to like £12.99, obviously first,
Ooh, I like him. I'm apt to get him.
but then to £9.98. You know, and it's just crazy that originally that was 28 quid. For a
To
figure
be
like
honest with
that, I wouldn't spend £28 on. You know,
When you
I
actually
wouldn't.
look at that Howard the Duck, man, I've seen that in person, man. It's not worth the 20 odd fucking quid for it.
No,
Because there's no articulation in the legs. It's only the arms and the head that fucking moves, and then you get the floating head in the jar.
and that's it. To go back to Marvel Legends, Ian, that's what Baz got me because I was after that, and Baz managed to find one. Yeah, so Baz kept that one.
Yes, we like a bit of Phoenix. We like a bit of Phoenix, don't we?
Yeah, and then I managed to find this one, which was again £4.98. You know, it was like
Sweet.
crazy price. You know, I needed both these two. Baz treated me to that one, so I picked up the two for £5. Do you know what I mean? It was brilliant.
I've always said though. I don't. Well, unlike I've got to ask this question of you now, Si. Are you the kind of person like Baz who wants every single iteration of a character, or are you a bit more like me, where I'll have something to acknowledge the character in acknowledgement, but I don't want 500 versions of, say, the Joker.
I'm like
a
Ian.
Joker.
Well, in retrospective, I've been talking to my twin brother, and Mark's, as you know, he collects Black Series. He always has done since they started. But my favourite Star Wars film is Return of the Jedi. And I kept noticing these Return of the Jedi figures that were popping up. So I had a talk with Shabby and I said to him, I want to try and get into this, but I look in your rooms, I look at Baz's room, they're vast. But how do I start off with just these Return of the Jedi figures? So Mark explained to me that they come out in certain sections, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Ahsoka, all these, which I learned at the time.
Yeah.
So I bought these figures. Now, since then, the 40th anniversary Return of the Jedi figures have come out. But what I've done here is, if I've got it already in the box, that green and Star Wars Black Series box, I don't necessarily need to buy it on the card, because then that's two of the same figure. And I've noticed that the history of Black Series, finding out about this, is that they've done this a lot. a hell of a lot of times. Like, it's the same figure over 10 years, but about 15 different packages.
Well,
So
that's
I'm
the
like
same
you. If
thing.
I got the one, I'm happy. I don't need to go out and buy another one because it's in this box, or another one because it's in
Yeah.
this edition, and I
It's
don't
like
need
I've
to
got
do
the
that.
Princess Leia, the Emperor Strikes Back one comes on the card, but it's the exact same figure that come in the 2-pack with Han and Leia. You know, the one that comes in the big box.
Yeah. And that's the
Man,
thing. I don't understand how you can.
feel for
It's
that
so
'cause
many times of the figure. I'm like you, and I like to buy. If I've got the one figure, I'm happy with that. Do you know what I mean? I think I don't need to go and buy it because now it's in this packaging. I've got the figure in 6-inch.
Obviously, though, if somebody, if it's a different variation of character and I got to pick it up cheap and it was a really nice figure, I might say fair enough. But I don't need to go out there and buy, to use Bad's example, I say this in jest, Bad, 400 Harleys. I'm quite happy with a Harley, and that'll do me.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Don't get me wrong. If Harley comes out in the multiverse or DC Direct or any of these other DC that I collect, and it's a different Harley along the lines, then yeah, I pick them up. But I would never,
Exactly.
if it was the same Harley all the time, just in different packages, I wouldn't. I wouldn't look at it.
Like, when it comes to my obsession with the Harley and the Joker, is like I don't technically go for the same Joker, even if it's in. It's like I ended up buying up the thing. It was the Lover 2-pack that you got with the Harley comes
Yeah, the
in
Mad
the
Love one.
dress.
Yeah,
But
I've got that myself. That one, yeah.
I've already got a carded version of that Joker. I've also got a loose version of that Joker, but I only got that for that Harley. It's the only way you could get that Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
But then a couple of years back, I ended up winning a Instagram from a giveaway, and I basically got another Joker that's the exact same. Basically got that one, and then I got another Harley. But
yeah, it's a great Joker, that, isn't
I
it?
just come in, even though I already had them, it's like,
Oh no, I must admit, I do like that version.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah.
But majority of the Jokers that I've got and the Harleys I've got, they're all different types. On there is different lines as well, because I do have a couple of the McDonald's and Burger King and.
One line I was trying to get back into, but but the figures have gone stupidly, ridiculously expensive. Do you remember the Highlander TV series?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Highlander
great
film.
show.
They did one of my all-time favorites, by the way. On a quick side note, they did one or two figures for them, Connor and Duncan. I can't remember the makers now, but I remember seeing them around. And I logged onto eBay recently, and I found one of them, and they were like nearly 300 quid for this blue figure. And I'm like, for heaven's sake!
But the thing is, though, you've just said that. I mean, I was a big fan of that show and never knew they made any figures for it. So they must be super rare, because for that price. And
yeah, no, they are rare. I mean, I'm not blaming the guy. Blaming the seller. We've all got.
It's just like on Saturday when you were talking to Dave and we seen all the James Bond stuff. I didn't even know that McFarlane actually done a line of James Bond figures.
No,
that carded one with the white suit. That was a McFarlane from an. That was a McFarlane figure.
My brother and Chris Smith Lord and a few of us say, wouldn't it be great if we could just have a line of James Bond, 6-inch figures in a box, all the Bond girls, all the different Bonds, all the Bond villains, all the sidekicks. Oh, it'd be
all the cars, obviously. Going up the cars. That would be amazing. I would be totally up for that.
It would be amazing. And I think, Izzy, there's that many copyright wranglements in these films now that's why it's never been done. Because this is an absolute gold mine. If they were to do that, everybody from you to Vintage Dave would buy them, wouldn't they? We all would. Because if there's one thing I think everyone generally does have in common, it's James Bond movies, don't they? They do. They have that in common. We all love Bond movies.
The only proper James Bond toy line there is James Bond Jr.
Okay.
We used to get Moonraker stuff as a kid. We had a few Moonraker. We had the Moonraker gun, and we had a couple of the cars and stuff, and a lot of cars with Bond as a kids. But nothing now.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Rob. Yeah, Rob.
All right. Question for the chat. Right. Bear in mind, of course, that we just talked about James Bond not having a toy line. If there was one franchise you could bring a toy line out for that doesn't already have a established toy line, what would it be?
For me, it would be Battle of the Planets. At the moment, Stone Collectibles have done the Gacha Man, which is a beautiful figure. It's pricey for what it is, but again, it's beautiful. But I would love to see the whole line. I'd love to see a Phoenix. I'd love the Battle of the Planets line.
Definitely, man. That would be an awesome for man.
Yeah. Because again, for something that was started in 78, it's a manga that started in 78 that's still loved today. Do you know, people do love Battle of the Planets, and
you probably when you go to if you do go to Japan when it's your 50th, you might be lucky enough because
you mean my 25th? You mean my 25th, not my 50th? 25th. Cheeky,
you might be lucky because I mean it is a Japanese anime, so there maybe is actual figures out there, but it's only.
We said if we can get tickets for Star Wars Celebration, and we can get the tickets for Star Wars Japan, then we will be going.
See, there's one. I wish they actually did Never Ending Story.
Oh,
really got. Good. You never got Twilight for that. There was figures, but they were knockoffs. They were just like little vinyl figures. But it's the same with the Labyrinth. I would have loved a proper Labyrinth toy back in the day.
Labyrinth would have been good
because I haven't seen it done for a while. I know we've had the odd one-off, but to my knowledge, we haven't had a proper line. The Muppets in Sesame Street.
Oh, I don't know at the moment. DTM and Stu and Georgie as well. They do collect Muppet figures, so I do think at the moment there is quite a line for them because I saw DTM pick one up in Dublin, Stu and Georgie picked one up when they was in Blackpool, and I've never known of these, and I didn't even know they did. Figures for the Muppets and stuff, and so you might be lucky then.
Is it Diamond Select does them say?
I don't know. I couldn't remember
because I would love to get. I want the animal.
DTM bought the animal in Dublin. It was a bit pricey. It was a pricey figure. Or was it animal? Was it beef? I can't remember.
I want Cookie Monster.
Thomas put some here. So he put I'd love a 6-inch Heroes of World War II line of figures from the classic movies. I would love that. Can you imagine the Dirty Dozen on your shelf and stuff? And that'd be great.
What about I'm going to nominate Visionaries, Knights of the Magical Light.
Yeah, that'd be good. Visionaries are a good set, aren't they? Oh yeah, can you imagine that?
Everybody's got to laugh at this, but I wish they actually done a Braveheart toy line.
Oh, Mel Gibson, yeah, in his historically inaccurate kilt, exactly.
I've never seen that film all the way through. I've watched it so many times and never seen the whole thing because I've always either been interrupted, I fell asleep. Something's always happened. I've never seen Braveheart all the way through. Now I know that's blasphemous, especially living with a Scots woman. It's blasphemous that, but
I was going to say, be very, very careful. You might not live till the end of the stream.
yeah. But yeah, Highlander, you're dead right. I mean, there's talk of a remake of that coming with Henry Cavill playing the part. So that'd be great.
I know they have done a Highlander.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest.
But a Highlander line would be great. All them different swords. Because what I loved about Highlander is that every other one that they met had a different style of fighting with a different sword. And I love that. I thought that was fantastic. I could think of
several different characters I'd love straight off the bat. There's Connor and Duncan straight away. There's Amanda.
Yeah.
Kurgan.
Imagine the Kurgan sword all putting together with a. It'd be brilliant.
I must admit, I have a collection of as Baz knows, I don't know if I've ever told you, I like collecting the proper sword, the replica swords. And next on my list, because my brother-in-law has got the Highlander one, but our next one on our joint list is the Kurgan sword.
Oh yeah, that'd be a great sword to own. Dan, I don't know if you know Dan, Ed5. He's got quite a few swords. He's got quite a few nice swords. And it's something that you don't really think of in collections and stuff. Like everybody just thinks of lightsabers, don't they, straight away? But see other swords like Excalibur and
I've got
swords and weapons in general are a bit of a funny one because you've got to be obviously for legal reasons you've got to be very careful. For example, there was a beautiful white tiger samurai sword that I saw, online ages ago, and it was like 150 quid. I could not get that because while it was within UK laws, because I think it's something to do with the length of the blade or something in my head, I could not legally import it.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult one. You know, you understand why the rules exist, like, but even so, it's still annoying for collectors like us. That
You don't get the Sword of Omens, Ian.
I do want the Sword of Omens, but I haven't got that yet. I haven't been able to find it for a reason.
What was the one that you got and you was like, Baz, have a look at that website, and I kind of just
that was the He-Man 2002 sword.
Oh, that
Nice
company some crackers like.
Oh yeah, I'd love a great Sword of Omens, but I'd love the really long one. Do you know what I mean? You can put on the side. And...
I was annoyed because they had a sale on at that same website, and they didn't, and then they put it back up again when I had the money to buy it. I'm like, for heaven's sake, that isn't fair.
Because I think when they were doing they did the Sword of Omens, but they were doing, you can buy it separately, but you can also get the set that you get, like the dagger style version of the Omens, and then you get the big one.
Yeah,
that was like £200, but then it went back up to like 500 and so. I was like,
I will say as well, as an artist in me as well, that for me, Thundercats had the greatest opening of any cartoon I've ever watched in my life. That opening was so anime. It was just fantastic how it was done. And I really do think you've got that over the years. Like, it doesn't get the appreciation that opening deserves. It's a work of art in art. It's amazing. I was
going to say, I rewatched because I'm rewatching my animation collection recently. And I thought, you know what? I'm actually going to sit down and watch Thundercats properly. I'm only about 3 or 4 episodes in because I've literally just started it.
Yeah.
But as you say, that star does not get the appreciation it deserves.
No, anybody in this chat now, after this stream, go and just watch Thundercats opening, the intro on YouTube. It's just amazing. Honestly, for the time that was made and the styles that they used in animation, it's amazing, that beginning.
To be honest with you, I'm quite surprised at him they've done a live action movie of that yet.
I was going to say they were talking about
it's wrangles, isn't it? There must be wrangles in it. Why have we not got a Thundercats, or why have we not got a Mask? Think of a Mask movie today. Mask would be amazing to see. Today's graphics, they could do anything. You know,
it's like 80s cartoons I'd love to see in live action, but we know it's never going to happen.
Just looking at Robert Mark saying the proper nads. Because it was a proper nads.
I want to see a proper He-Man live action, and I don't mean the 1980s Dolph Lundgren. I mean really doing it properly.
But do you not think it's bizarre that when you watch that the Dolph Lundgren Master of the Universe, it's not really He-Man, is it really? There's no Orko, no Battle Cat. They're not in Eternia. Man at Arms looks different.
Yeah, that's why I loved it.
It was a good film, though. We all liked it. I remember being a kid, having there's nothing in it, a He-Man. But at the end, I thought this is great, you know. So it's weird that film.
Well, there were films like that, 80s cheese, where they absolutely made no sense whatsoever. But you just ran with
it. Yeah. But there was supposed to be a big He-Man film coming, wasn't there? What's happened with that? Is it all fell apart or something?
I haven't heard anything about that for a while.
I'm sure Shabby mentioned something about this a few weeks back. I'm sure it got cancelled for some reason because it was meant to be cancelled. Netflix was meant to be doing a live action movie or a series or something, but I could be wrong. But I'm sure. Well, the last time we spoke to me, you, Shabby, and all that was in the chat. I'm sure Shabby says it was cancelled.
Might be, yeah. I remember that this lad kept popping up and said it was going to be He-Man, but
over what they wanted to do because folk wanted to keep it as like an 80s version, and they wanted to update it, and I don't think they could agree on what they wanted to do with it.
I mean,
that would be a brilliant franchise, wouldn't it? To start off with He-Man, and you could get so many movies out of that, and so many different spin-off movies because of all the extra characters and stuff. And
I mean, as we say, I'm not as familiar with it as Baz is, but obviously I can get back into it reasonably recently. But when I think over the franchise, if you do it properly, as in MCU style, and you put the story together in a coherent way, there's plenty of material in that to go with it.
Yeah.
I would love to see I would love to see Trapjaw in like a live action movie, man. There's so many characters for the Masters universe that
Oh yes.
I'd love to
Yeah.
see what they do with Hordak in a live action movie.
That's
Beastman.
it. And then you've got the whole
Mothman.
She-Ra spin-off after that, haven't you? It would keep every diversity happy, wouldn't it? To do a massive universe.
Or
film.
after He-Man, and then if they wanted to do a sequel, they could bring from Manshira in it, and then kind of.
I was going to say, I was
Continue
gonna
after
say
that.
She-Ra as well. You know, there's a whole. You know. Oh.
It must be wrangles. There must be just copyright wrangles in these things, why these things just don't get made. Because to me,
I
it's
think
like,
that's why we haven't had an updated version of Mask. I mean, they've basically rebooted every other toy line for the 80s near enough. But Mask, they've never... If you think Transformers, they've done so many different Transformer series. Star Wars, they've done a few different Thundercats, He-Man. Why have they never done a Mask? I would
yeah,
love to
it's
see
true,
an
isn't it?
updated
The only
version
thing I've ever seen new in Mask is like when like Luke Reynolds videos, he'll show like customs that are new today and custom little helmets and custom boxes and stuff. But there doesn't seem to be a new, like line of masks, does there? Oh,
As I think we discussed this before, is that if they do the mask is to be, they have to do the original size, or it wouldn't be because it was the vehicles that sold
Yes.
that toy line.
yeah.
You couldn't do like a, I don't know if you get away with a 4-inch figure for the vehicles or not, but I did read something. It's like, there's going to be 6-inch versions, and it's like, but it's the vehicles that you want. It's not the actual figures. It's the vehicles that, for me as a kid, it was the vehicles that got me into Mask.
Yeah.
What about for a line, guys? I've just thought of another one. The Hanna-Barbera universe.
Oh, that'd be great. Hong Kong Phooey and Scooby-Doo, and it'd be brilliant, that line. I'd love all of them. Top Cat a lot, yeah. Jetsons. God, list goes on and on. That would be good, Ian, to get a nice new set of them. But I'd like them done like how the animated figures are. You know, the Batman animated. And they've got that beautiful plasticky and they're all painted beautifully. So like pastel-y look. I'd like them done like that. Do you know what I mean? They'd look cool like that.
See, I kind of agree with Rob as well, man. I would love to see a new proper 6-inch version of the 18.
Oh, I'd like to see the 6-inch of the original ones that we had. Yeah, when you used to have them sort of big figures, but they always had wobbly legs after like a week, didn't they? They weren't the best made figures at all. But a new 6-inch line in them would be great, wouldn't it? Yeah.
It's weird because when you actually look at the original 18 figures, when you look where the legs are, it looks like they've put them round the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
They always that sort of I mean, I remember being a kid. I mean, I love that 18 van, but I think it was my brother Mark. I think he had Face's car. I know one of my brothers did, and it was like a Chevette, that white Chevy. It was a beautiful car. It was just mint, and I always loved that better than the 18 van. Played with that more than I did the 18 van.
I just want, and I know we've had them for a while, but I'm still allowed to ask for it because I can never get hold of one. I just want a really nice kit from Knight Rider.
Yeah, that'd be nice as well, wouldn't it? A Michael Knight 6-inch with a big beauty. But again, look, how much would that cost now, a Knight Rider for a 6-inch figure? You'd be looking at 250 quid. You'd have to be, wouldn't you? When you look at the prices.
That would be quite expensive. Although I would say that the 1966 Batman that you mentioned earlier, that would have the potential for a decent line. When you think, but
again, that's been done so many times. I mean, Batman 66 at the moment, the McFarlane ones, it started off really strong, but I'm starting to get a bit disillusioned with it because the new waves that's coming out this October, it's like they're all from the TV cartoon show, which I never remembered. Did they ever show that cartoon show over here, the 66 Batman? I do not remember it at all.
The cartoon, the live action version with Adam West, yes.
The cartoon. I don't ever remember the cartoon, Ian. So all these new figures are coming out from this cartoon. But 3 of them, we've already had 3 of the figures. So that's come slowed down a bit when there were so many characters from that TV show, like the Bookworm and the Siren, and this list goes on and on that I wanted to see. But it seems to have gone into the direction of the cartoon show where I'm a bit like, I wanted a Roddy McDowell Bookworm figure.
To me, to me, the only decent sort of Batman TV series is the 1992 animated series and Batman Beyond.
Oh, it's a work of art.
That sort of era of Batman animation.
I still say, when people talk about Batman movies, I'll say The Mask of the Phantasm is one of the greatest Batman movies I've ever seen, without a shadow of a doubt. That TV show was just amazing. Somebody got Harley Quinn from. He still spoke about highly to this day. He shot Bruce Timm as one of the greatest Batman animators. Brilliant show. Kevin Conroy will always be as well the Batman, won't he? Really?
Yep. I mean, and obviously, I was saying this because I was saying this to my friend the other day, because he was getting all excited because one of the American conventions, I can't remember which one, said they didn't manage to get Mark Hamill. I can't remember which one it was now. And I turned around and she goes, Luke Skywalker. I said, yes, but I wouldn't be going for Luke Skywalker. I'd be taking one of my Joker things to get signed because that's what I know him as better.
Yeah. Well, he played the Joker for 25 years, didn't he? And I do love the way now that Kevin Conroy's passed on, Mark Hamill's passed on that role as well. He won't come back and do the Joker. Because apparently every time anything was new for Batman, and Mark Hamill got the call to say, new Batman's coming, Joker's up, the first thing he'd ask is Kevin Conroy the Batman? And if he said no, he was like, oh, he liked to play against him. And since Kevin Conroy died, Mark Hamill's just, that's it, no more Joker for Mark Hamill. I think that's a lovely thing, that.
I mean, Baz will probably correct me. I'm sure he do Skeletor in the animation.
Yes,
and he did a very similar laugh when he did the laugh of Skeletor. It was very, very similar to his Joker laugh, and that threw me off completely. Don't get me wrong, he did a brilliant job of it. But when you hear something very similar, and you're like, okay, that's a bit unusual.
Yeah. He did. When he played Skeletor, I know a lot of folk weren't happy that the way he played Skeletor.
Really, I thought he was all right.
Joker, but it's Mark Hamill. I don't care what he sounds like.
I haven't watched any of the new He-Man. Not watched any of it.
His Skeletor. He's one of the actors I would love to meet before I hit that, but before I get a lift from that big Millennium Falcon in the sky.
Mark met him. Mark used to work in a suit shop in America, and Mark said Mark Hamill come in, and Mark said he's a really nice guy. He said he's really down to earth and stuff. And
the kind of gives you an option. If you ever did meet him and you want to get something signed personally, is like, do you get a Luke Skywalker figure signed? Do you get a Skeletor figure signed, or do you get a Joker figure signed?
I'd be like Ian, even though he is Luke Skywalker, DC's my biggest love of all the franchises. And I'd be like Ian, if I knew Mark Hamill was around, I think I'd have to take something from the Joker, the animated series, more than I would my Luke Skywalker figure.
I'd probably take the Joker that Chris and that got us for when I was in hospital. I'd probably get that signed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more for I think we all agree that it'd be something from the Joker, wouldn't it, really, then? But that just goes to show the appreciation we've got of that man, because he was Luke Skywalker, worldwide famous face. We all love him for the Joker, and I love that. You know what I mean?
That's probably why I love the Joker so much, because I know it was Mark Hamill that had done all the voice acting for him.
Yeah.
You grew up with Star Wars, and then you kind of have that little break, and then it gets one thing, it gets you back into the collection. And to be honest with you, it was actually watching Batman and listening.
It's funny, isn't it, that since he doesn't do the Joker in different voices like D. Bradley Baker and stuff, and they do the Joker, they seem to do Mark Hamill's Joker. Do you know, it's that like presence.
It's always an homage to that kind of Joker.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's like when you used to play like the Arkham games. It's like, wait a minute, I recognise that voice.
Yes.
And you couldn't put two and two together, and then it is until you kind of read, and it's like, it's who I thought it was. You didn't realise you always knew him as Luke Skywalker. You never knew that he'd done voice acting as well.
It's because of the fact that he played the Joker.
Yeah. He said you play something that long, and it comes synonymous with what you're hearing. I don't know about you two, but when I read Batman comics now, And the Joker's in it. I get Mark Hamill's Joker voice in my ears. That's what I get. It's really strange. But
Yeah, exactly. I get Kevin Conroy's Batman whenever I'm reading, you know.
yeah, you do get that sort of. So, you know, they were very important to the world of DC and especially the world of Gotham. And they'll always be remembered as the characters they played. And animation-wise, I don't think they'll ever be beaten. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
We got the golden era, didn't we, in the 90s? And like again with Batman of the Future and Batman Beyond eventually, it just works of art. They were just superb cartoon shows, is what they were, but they were amazing.
I mean,
you know, they were...
they were aimed at families, you know, before everything got a bit, I'm going to say politely, say bizarre.
You guys,
they treated them. They treat them. Those shows. They treated them for the whole family. They were just on the edge enough for kids to be able to watch them, but they were mature for the likes of us to be able to watch them and pick up things and, you know, not treat the audience like idiots. If that makes sense.
Yeah, they weren't children's shows, were they? They weren't like you were watching the Powderpuff Girls or anything like that. You knew you were watching a Batman cartoon, and when it was painted on black paper, and it just has that just look that no other cartoon has. Do you know? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's bigger fans of that show, like Chris Smith-Lord. He absolutely adores that show, and his collection of the animated series is like no one's have ever seen. It's just amazing. His collection. He's got absolutely everything for it, but he adores it. He loves it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I love about people like that. I'll tell you what, two bargains I got though, Baz. The day before I come to Scotland, is that I went to Smith's and they had this really big sale on, and I ended up picking this up from One Piece, and this was £7. That's all that was.
I seen that I seen that on the website, man.
Yeah, so that was £7. I thought I'm picking that up.
What show is that from, Si? Because I'm not overly familiar with
One Piece.
The actual live action started on Netflix, and it's really good, Ian. It's really, really good. They've really stuck faithful to the manga. So
that's Zero, isn't it?
Yeah. And then I've got this. Rick brought me this because he knows I love Cowboy Bebop. It's my favourite manga, and Rick got me that. He brought that from Scotland with him.
Added to my favourites,
that's one figure. Yeah. That was one figure I was trying to get because last year but the year before, B&M's, they started showing up on B&M's, but we never got them up in Scotland.
Yeah. I think Rick got it in his Asda.
I always wanted one of those figures.
I think it came into Rick's Asda and he just went, right, getting that to say. And then this one, which really was a bargain, I picked this up for £3, which was the McFarlane Toys Hero Academia figure.
It's good because B&M's are selling A1s for $12.99 as well.
Yeah, £3 that was in Smith's. So I thought, I'm having that for £3.
Can't blame.
Okay. I've become like Bazzy and I've become like him. I resent spending over £5 now on anything.
No. I'm a cheapskate as well. Let's face it. I think we're all the same as collectors because we want to get our line. We always want to get it as cheap as possible.
Well, save your pennies, and it's a few more figures, isn't it? That's the thing, we all like to buy figures and stuff, but because of what we buy, we know the price of these things. Like this. When I saw this, I'd never got this before. I saw it for £10, £9.99. I thought that's a bargain to pick up.
It's the worst thing. As we've always, as I said, is that sometimes it's just having patience, waiting, doing the waiting game, finding stuff. Man,
yeah.
If just say for example, if you went into an container tomorrow and they had, say, what the Ahsoka figure, Black Series figure for £6, you're going to pick it up. If you've got the nicest Ahsoka figure I saw, figure that you've been looking for a while, and they've got it in sale, you're not going to walk away from it. I mean, I've learned my lesson a few times because there's a few things I've seen and it's kind of like, I'm not going to buy that. And then you regret it because it's went down in price. But
when I was in Dublin, Gerard Kane, he bought the Ahsoka hot toy, and this thing's beautiful. What a really nice hot toy that is. It's all because I said to him, God, you're lucky to get hold of one of them. Like going like hot cakes, aren't they, with the Ahsoka? And even before this show, Ahsoka was always a big seller. Like, isn't that them red and black boxes you and Shabby have got? The Ahsoka's quite dear now, isn't it? I remember seeing that for something stupid. And
I've never. That's that's one figure I haven't seen yet. Especially up here, it's like you can only get that one online, but even when you go online, it's like it's stupid, crazy.
I suppose
Mark said to me, he did say, he said, listen, if you don't want to wait for the Return of the Jedi boxes to come out, all these Black Series are in the red and black boxes. So have a look back, pick the ones you like. So I thought, you know what, I will. But they're so expensive. Like I said to Mark, I'm not going to spend 85 quid on the Gamorrean Guard when it's coming out in the Return of the Jedi card for 30 quid. At the time now, it's what, £20, you know? So I said to Mark, you know, it was a good idea to do that. But if I had gone back to the red and black boxes, there's no way I'd have got them all in, and it would have cost me an absolute fortune to do so.
The thing with the red and black boxes, there is certain figures that are quite expensive, but majority of there is certain ones you could probably pick up for under a £5 probably now, especially Rose. You could probably pick.
Well, they're the ones I mean, that's the problem with that though, Bass, because you'll start getting them in, then you'll get a few in, and there was 112, wasn't there, originally? So you think to yourself, and they're all numbered on the side, so you start collecting more. Then it starts going into its 200s and 300s. And
so, are you an inbox collector or an outbox collector?
I'm an inbox collector. I haven't opened anything in 30 years.
How the hell do you manage with all the space? Because shortly after
it's all in boxes.
Shortly after we moved, right, I had no choice but to unbox my Lightning collection, because we realized that 4 of the packing crates contained the Power Rangers Lightning collection. And when I pulled out the boxes, I'm like, no wonder we had no room in the bloody loft.
See, the thing with Sai, right, is Sai's actually got a TARDIS outside. He's probably got a TARDIS. He's probably got a TARDIS in his back garden, and that's where all his collectibles are.
Like I said, I've always been into this since being a kid.
That would explain it.
You know, I've just never thrown anything away, and you keep these things, but I've always been one for an inbox collector, because it's like, it's just, the only thing I do find stupid, and I will admit this myself, Mike at Claire, she goes mental, and I inbox Lego. I don't open Lego. And my Claire, she goes crazy that I don't. She's like, why do you not open your Lego? What's wrong with you? But,
no, I was going to say, yeah, I'm going to ask that question. The figures I can understand. But the whole point of Lego is to build it.
Every week, Salacious runs like, she always says, you're always welcome on the Lego studs. And the amount of times I've bought a set and thought, I'll go on the Lego studs this Sunday. I'll give Salacious a bell. I'll go on and open this. And then I never do. It's crazy. I just can't open it. I don't know. I think it's become habit now. I think I've done it for that long. Now it's a habit. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's true what you were saying last night. There is certain Lego sets that are getting discontinued at Christmas.
Oh yeah, I've a few that's worth a few quid now. Them ones now I would never open now, because that's just ridiculous to do.
If
So
you
for
can
me,
get them kind of cheap, and then as soon as they get thinking, man, you know the price just goes through the roof. So if you ever wanted to sell that in 10 years' time, and you know you're going to get you're going to triple your money back.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes it comes back out again and it gets redone again a few years later, and you know, things like that. But I don't know. I like things in boxes. I just do. Chantel?
Hey, I have a question for you. Our very good friend, the Peaky Arrow, is doing a charity stream in a couple of weeks' time, I believe. I'm sure Baz will put the dates in the chat at some point for the guys.
It's the 27th of October.
Thank you. Ooh. I wanted to get right. And we have been challenged to do a Transformers challenge inside of an hour. We've got to try and transform a Transformer. Now I need your advice. What Transformer should I get, and should I transform
it? Now, within an hour, if I go off my brother, none, because Mark can't transform a Transformer. It'd take him 3 days, Mark. So don't go off Shabby. Whatever Shabby says, don't go off that. For me,
before we do that, question for the chat: how long has it taken you? What's your record, either longest or shortest, transforming a Transformer?
See, I actually thought, when I thought about this challenge, right, my first person I actually thought was Shabby. I says this would be fun to get Shabby on, just to do it.
Chantel says here, look, she's an inbox collecting. I'm an inbox person. It would pay me to take it out of the box. I'm exactly the same. And I think over time, when you do it for so long, I mean, these were a nightmare. I won't tell you any lies. When they came with that, for people like me, I was horrified. I was like, how can you close these off? The whole point for me is that window, the displayed figures, the art down the side. I like this look. And when all these started to come, and don't remember, originally you are paying these prices for these things like 28 quid, 30 quid. I had no choice but to cut my box open, have a look at the figure, then put it back. And so I'm so glad that Hasbro now's gone back to the window again, because that was crucifying.
I was going to say there's also been stories, how true they are I don't know, of people ending up with completely the wrong figures in the box. You know.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times, Ian. Yeah,
I've seen
times
that.
People shut me down.
And folk have actually, when they've been doing their toy hunts, have found open boxes, so they've basically taken the figure out.
Yeah.
And walked out with the figure, or somebody's went and bought it. They've bought an Iron Man and a thing in that, and it's a Wonder Woman or something that's inside the box.
What's your view on the new Lego minifigures being in cardboard boxes? I think that's a stupid move. That the amount of cardboard boxes now you just keep seeing ripped open is just unbelievable.
That's going to be the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. I'm sorry, but
yeah, it is.
That's why, because me and the wee boy, we went to be in Ems and Glenrothes yesterday, and they've got the display stand with all the new Marvel ones. And majority of every box had actually been opened. So folk are actually opening the box and trying, because I know they're looking for, there is a couple in there that's going to be quite rare, they said. But every box was all opened. So somebody's physically opened them, say, oh, right, that's Wolverine, I'll take that one. Or that's from Hanging, I'll take that. It's not a nice thing to go in, especially if you want to keep them in the box. You don't care what's inside the box kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's like what Ian said. They can have, a lot of them have been stolen. But what happens if that was all broken and I don't open anything? So in the next few years, I think I'm going to display them all. I'm going to take them all out, and I take all these ones out. Can you imagine if they're all broken inside? You'd be like,
see,
there's nothing worse than that.
If you do it right with those ones, you can cut the tape off. Check the figure, right? The figure's fine. You can put it back in.
That's what I've been doing, Baz.
So, if you know the technique to take the tape off and then put a fresh bit of tape on, then you know yourself that figure in there is secure, and you know it's the right figure that's in it.
Yeah, I just always like the look of figures in a box and on the shelves and all boxed up.
I mean, to switch back to the Lightning collection for 10 seconds, we know it's going on hiatus. Well, no matter what the rumor says, we do. Well, sorry, rephrase that. There are very strong rumors it's going on hiatus, even though it hasn't been officially confirmed by Hasbro yet. But
yeah.
we think that's why it's gone on hiatus. Try and fix it.
You want to see what the figure looks like. You want to make sure that there's no paint defects. There's no from
2 left feet, 2 right feet.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. You don't know if the figure's got 2 left.
That's it. I mean, you could pull that out now. There'd be no head, no arm. You just don't know, and that's the whole point.
And I'm sorry, but that is not good enough. You know, that wouldn't be good enough for a £5 figure, let alone a £35.
Well, that was just. I mean, I've got the Bobby from the original Dungeons and Dragons cartoon, and then after I bought that and I started hearing the horror stories that folk were buying it and the hand was broken or the head was broken, I had no choice but to open that up just to double check it, because I got paranoid, just like yourself when you got the was it the Jubilee? The one
Jubilee VHS one. Yeah,
the same. You were like, you had to.
Yeah, I did, because it was a bit of a defected figure. The leg would not straighten at all in it. It just will not straighten that leg.
The only issue I do have with that one is that the joints are quite stiff on it, but he'll be staying in the box anyway. I just want to make sure that the figure was in one piece.
And for the out of box collectors, you know, like myself now, if you know, because the storage is so stiff, when you try to pose them on yourself, you're afraid of breaking the blooming things.
Best
and they're not cheap, are they? That's the main thing. They are not cheap, but we forget, like, we're paying all this money basically for plastic and cardboard, and yet we treat it like it's diamonds and jewels. And you know, sometimes these things will fragile. They won't last. They do snap.
Oh yeah, no. I think most of us would say, you know, accidents happen. You know, figures fall over, whatever. That's fair enough. You know, life happens. But But if it's fresh out of the box, you know, it shouldn't be like that, you know.
No, because then it's a product defect, isn't it? It's like something that's not even, you know.
When you do open your toys up, you take the figure out. You always go with it, but you'll start to move, and it's like, oh, you know, that feels a bit too tight, and your fear to come and put pressure on it just to come in. It's like I've watched so many unboxing videos that the guy's taking the figure out and he's went to move the arm and the arm's just basically snapped right off. It's like
It got you, wouldn't it? You'd be gutted with that sort of thing.
it must be gutting for them.
It's like this, but this Ian, it was the main reason why I went to Scotland for going to Bazzi's, which was this here. This is what I really was after. And the thing is, look at that box. It's a full display nice box. There's no need for me to open this up whatsoever. Do you know what I mean? I like the display done at the back. I like the sides of the way it's all done. Well, for me, that's the look that I'm after. That sort of.
See,
I mean,
to be honest with you, I could open that upside and have these figures displayed, but as you can see, man, it's got a big window, so you're not. As I say to you, it's like I was always hoping these would go into clearance because B&M's have had them for so long.
Yeah.
Just to prove a point, guys, I'm just quickly.
I'm just going to say, in that box is you've just kind of demolished that.
Well, it's a good job I'm not planning on keeping the box, but just to prove a point here, right? That is a 10 to 15 pound figure, and look at how well wrapped that is compared, you know, to some of what we get from Hasbro.
Yeah, some of it. I mean, it's like when I see somehow you get the things in America, like the way they just send them in smaller boxes, bend the cards, not bothered about sending them in a plastic bag or anything. And
I mean, look at how well protected that is.
Yeah, but then really nice. Then I think you've got right good bargains there.
I'll send you if you want. I'll send you the link so you can have a look yourself, and see if
as we started off, Baz, the whole thing. I do not want to get into any more lines at all. I'm avoiding them.
Just accept the inevitable. Be like Thanos. I said that when I first met Baz, and look what's happened.
Yeah, you do. You fall down the rabbit holes, don't you? You've got no choice. There's always something that you'll see that pulls you back in.
Yeah, it's the worst thing about it. Being a collector is that you will stick to a few lines that you know, but over time something new comes in. It's like, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that. Yeah. Oh, I want that. I want that. I want that. And then before you know, you're.
Would you like it when lines like I was talking to Mark the other week, and I was talking about Master of the Universe, and there was a rumor going around that somebody put around. It was a load of rubbish, but they put on Twitter that this line is finishing. That's it. They're going to be done with him. And Mark was a bit like, oh no, but I said to Mark, well, I'm always happy when a line finishes because then I know I've got what I've wanted from it, if I've not all of them. And then I look forward to looking into a new line. I don't really like lines that carry on and on and on, do you know?
Exactly. To a point, as I say, it's annoying because as you said, as you alluded to earlier, Si.
I got a great bargain.
Well done, Gab. Well done. Yes. It's annoying when you're trying to sort of work out. In this case, for example, let's say Baz and his Harley obsession for a minute, right? It's far easier for him to know how many Harleys he's going to get, and then allocate space for it, rather than having to figure out, okay, I've got to rearrange my collection again because I've got another 200 figures.
Yeah. That's the thing, and like anything's until like obviously it looks like the Return of the Jedi 40th anniversary cards will be finished after this line. I can't see any more, if any more coming. But then it leads me nice next year for the Filmation Master of the Universe. I'd rather do it like I'd rather a line finish before you just keep buying different lines all the time.
I mean, it gets you. I mean, as you said earlier, and we've mentioned this before. It's fair enough if a line's going down the route of well-known characters and whatever. But when you reach the point when it's, I don't know, just to be ridiculous for a minute, it's the barman that walks behind the man in the back of a scene for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
That's when you start going, hang on a second.
Yeah. And they want
My
the same
worst-
sort of money for main figures for it. It's a bit much, isn't it?
My worst rabbit hole that I went down was Transformers.
Yeah.
When Transformers kind of come back into the scene again, when I went daft on Transformers. Then I decided.
I'm lucky. I only buy Decepticons. I only ever buy Megatron first, Starscream, and Soundwave. That's
Then
it.
I decided to stop it. And then when I seen basically I started my Transformer collection back up this year, well, just before Christmas, because I ended up buying the Black Zarek. Then Game decided to have the Megatron G.I. Joe, so I ended up buying that, and then I ended up getting the crossover X-Wing fucking thing. Then I've started picking up. Now I've started buying Transformers again, and Transformers is because it's like everything else with the Transformers. They keep using the same fucking mold, but it's a different character. It's like, how many Starscreams do you really want? How many Bumblebees do you want?
Exactly.
To go through that big box that I've got of Transformers, I would probably say there's probably about 40 fucking Bumblebees in there. Because you were just picking up every different Bumblebee.
Exactly. It's like
the one I tried to get hold of and I couldn't get was the Soundwave Shattered Glass, that white one. I was after that, and I just couldn't seem to find it at all. It's disappeared.
I wanted that. I wish I pre-ordered the one that they brought last year, man. And
yeah,
there'll be plenty of them. They're not going to sell out. I was wrong.
They do, don't they? It's like I said from like very beginning of the conversation. Some figures in some lines just disappear, don't they? They're just gone.
It's like you always say with the Jada Street Fighter figure side. Is as soon as Cammy comes out, for some reason she just goes mental.
Yeah, that's going to disappear. As soon as I see that on pre-order or anything, I'm on it because she'll disappear.
They'll come in for
pre-order. John for that because
leaves
when I went to Dublin, John says, "You collecting the Street Fighter figures?" And I said, "What I'm saying now." I said, "No." I said, "I don't want to. I'm into Tekken." I said, "I've been collecting the Tekken ones." I said, "But I love Street Fighter, obviously, but it's another line." So then he went and bloody bought me one. So now I've got no choice but to keep buying them. Do you know what I mean? But luckily, there is only 3 out. There's only 3, isn't there?
I wanted some of those Street Fighter, some of those Jada Street Fighters, but I'm only wanting certain characters.
Yeah. Oh, the boxes on them things. Again, though, look at the boxes to keep them in. They're beautifully displayed like a little arcade cabinet.
I really hope they do like a Balanka and they do a Sagat and Vega and all that.
I had a word with Jono in Dublin Con, and apparently so. He said apparently they're going to be doing the whole line of them. So I don't know if it's going to be from the original Street Fighter 2 lineup, but it'd be nice to see. It'd be nice to see them all.
You have just reminded me, actually, talking of games, one line I would like to see is a proper, aimed at the likes of us, 90s, sort of 80s, 90s Nintendo Sega line. I don't mean sort of like the silly toys you get, every now and again. I mean a prop, like a really nice Sonic or a really nice Mario or a really nice Luigi.
Yeah, apart from them days of that, yeah. But then again, there was so many games, isn't there, for that? You could have all the original Mortal Kombat for that.
When you were talking about that, then my mind instantly jumped to a game called Street of Rage.
Oh, Streets of Rage, a great game. Great game.
Oh, I can't remember the name of what was the name of the cartoon? Was it Captain? Was it Captain N?
Yes, it's on YouTube. Yeah, it's brilliant.
I was just when you say Nintendo stuff there, right? And then we're talking about like what toy lines. I don't think they actually had a toy line, but it was a weird cartoon.
It was.
It would have been good if you actually got a toy line to go with it.
Because when I was compiling my collection, you said you need this one, and I'm like, oh my giddy aunt.
It's just like I don't know if I've still got them on the shelf. I've moved them. No, I think I put them away, but it was like you, man. I started picking up the Toxic Crusader stuff during the pandemic, and there was one character I always wanted. I could never fucking find him. Fucking Ian went and fucking found him within minutes after we talking about it.
Brilliant. Yeah. But again, you get people out, don't you? It's like they can just find them. They're there in their places, and other times they're just not. Like I said with this Ryu, and I mean, this Chun-Li and Turtles crossover, it was driving me crazy. I was looking for it every single week, and I'm thinking, I'm never going to get my hands on one of these. And then there they all are, bloody loads of them.
Then you get on the train and you're halfway back in, it's like, fuck, why did I not just buy the Ryu where I was up here?
It really wound me up, that Baz. You know, when you do, it just come on, and I was like, it was there. Why didn't I just get it while I was there?
See,
anyway, I've been on to Rick. Rick will get it. He'll grab it.
I mean, I'm the same size. Like, there is certain times I've went to like B&M's or Home Bargains, but it's not like my local Home Bargains. I've went to like Leaving. I mean, even though Leaving's not that far from me, it's a travelling and it's 20 minutes here, 20 minutes back kind of thing. And it's like, you go to the Home Bargains and they'll have a full set of something, but there's only certain characters you want, so you'll just pick them up. Then you'll come back and home and you're like, why the fuck did I just not pick up the whole wave?
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm now bracing myself for,
or 2 days later, and they're fucking gone, and it's like, ugh.
I can understand it when you've not got the money with you and stuff, and you want to get the certain one. But when you do go and you have got the money with you and you don't do it, then you always regret it when you come back. I mean, we've all done it. Everyone that's in this chat, or everybody here.
Chris mentions to me, we've got these figures in my B&M store that I think you might like, but I couldn't remember what the name of the one. He says that they're like mutants or something. And I says, well, the next time you're in, send me a picture. So he sent me a picture, and as soon as I seen the alternations, it's like, oh, I wonder if they did the big guys, because there's only one of the big ones. I only wanted the one out the three bigger versions. There was only one of them I wanted, Si. I wasn't too bothered about the other two. So I bought him, walked out the shop, went to B&M's, went back to the car, and it's like, fuck it. Why I'm here, I'd as well as just getting the other two, because Ken and Mallock, I'll go fucking him and I'll regret it.
Yeah. So Gap says it here, look, he says, I've done it. I've had regrets after I've gotten home. I should have bought the whole thing when I had the money. And that's the one thing that annoys me, Gap. When the money's on you and you're rumming and ahhing and then you're leaving.
Especially if it's the last one missing side. You know, I've done that before now. You've got 3 out of 4 of a line. You thought, oh, well, I'll go back and get it next week. And then you can't find the last one to complete the set.
Yeah. It drives you mad. Yeah. But
while working on that discussion before we finish up, I was the same with this guy. I couldn't find him for love or money. And I decided I was going to buy him on eBay. eBay was selling them for 12 quid. And I was like, that's still quite kind of reasonable.
Yeah. Do you know what? The story you told me behind them, I just might pick them up, you know, because again, in my own bargains, they're all in them, Baz. So I just might pick them up. They're not expensive, and I like the way that it was a Kickstarter idea, and you know, they got it off the ground going. I do like that.
Man, it's just even it's the same. I mean, eventually I'll probably will open these up, but the good thing about these boxes, I have actually opened the first one. I got opened up just to see what it was like. But the way these are good for collectors because they're collector-friendly boxes. Because once you actually up, he's actually in like a clamshell, so it just opens up. Take the figure out, have a look at it, put the figure back in, shut the box. There you go.
Yeah, just might start picking them up, I think.
Because it's like with the big ones are selling them for $4.99. If you go on eBay, man, the big ones go for about 20 to 25 quid.
Yeah.
The small ones probably no more than 15 quid, but the small ones are £3. These are £5, so there you go, man. 15 quid for the big ones. You're probably talking 30 quid for the whole fucking, just under 30 quid for the whole lot.
Well, I was asking me recently, what do I want for Christmas? So I've been looking through because Baz was kind enough to send me a big box of goodies earlier in the year, and obviously amongst that was a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure and a Biker Mice from Mars. So of course I'm now groaning to myself and thinking I'm going to have to get the rest of the turtles and the rest of the blinking Biker Mice from Mars.
Yeah, you fall in, don't you? You get one thing in and it's like Andy when it goes back to that original Biker Scout figure. I did say to myself, and that's it. I only want the one. But now I'm like, well, I also used to really love Weequay and I really love Lando's Skiff. So if I find one of them on the card, you get like that, don't you? Then I'm like,
always thinking, I just need to use I just need Shredder because he was the main villain.
Yeah, that's the thing. So he's always going to cost us.
I mean, I mean, what does annoy me though, on a quick ranty note before we finish up, is that the Lightning Collection Master Morpher, Hasbro made that a PulseCon exclusive. It sold out within seconds on the UK. The US have still got some, and I think some parts of Europe have still got some. But it's basically been confirmed now that the UK collectors, unless you've already got some, you're not going to be able to get one for love of money unless you go to a scalper, which is.
Well, yeah, just disappeared,
I believe
don't they?
you tried to order one in, by the time you put your from in,
It was literally, they put me cards details in, I clicked the button, and literally as it went, no, sorry, item sold out. I'm like, beg, what?
Yeah.
Give a guy a chance to press a button.
you kind of guess is that the good thing with the Hasbro is that it's only one per customer, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
how many folk are in that household have probably went in and from in.
Well, the thing is, it's like with pre-ordering. Pre-ordering can mean one thing. Yeah, you get your figure before you know you've got it, but that's only if you're quick enough. Because I've noticed with these GI Joe collections, especially if you're not on that pre-order button fast enough, they'll disappear on pre-ordering before anything else. And
to use the example there, Si, I knew when they were going. I literally had the Hasbro site up about 5 minutes before it went. The second it turned 11 o'clock our time.
Was it? Yeah.
You know. Literally, I tried to put it through. So it's one of those, as you say, and it just annoys me that, and not just with Hasbro, it could be with any line. You know, when they make certain figures, and if they know it's going to be popular, they make them sort of exclusive figures, which means automatically, or more for whatever that might be, which automatically means that they are going to be much more difficult to find.
Yeah.
Now, obviously.
Now,
obviously, as collectors, we understand that sometimes, that sometimes you have to take a risk. But hang on, my apologies, my cat's being awful.
Screen invader.
Apologies. Yeah, but you know what I mean, though. It just gets really irritating.
Yeah, it does. And it's funny how like when you hear things in America and they say it's like a Walmart exclusive or a Target exclusive, I know it's one of them. All their eyes roll and they go, "Oh, I'm never going to get that." Yet over here, we seem to get all them Target exclusives very easily. Like they're on our sites, they're in B&Ms. We seem to get them a lot more easy than how the Americans get them being exclusives, don't we?
Exactly.
Because I don't believe Target has a deal with B&Ms or anything like that, or but we just seem to get them. We don't seem to ever have a problem with Target exclusives. Right?
You know how they made the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, that Mutant Mayhem? There are certain packs that are a Target exclusive. You can only you could only get these in Targets, but now they're actually showing them from in Argos over here.
Yes.
Well, if it's meant to be a Target exclusive, why is a UK company getting them in?
Yeah, there must be two deals with the tools over there. Yeah.
You'll see that.
Maybe it's because like they know we don't have a Target, so they do a deal so we can get them. But what I don't get is how easy it is for us to get them, and how very difficult it is for people that actually live in America and have a Target round the corner, can't get them.
I mean, it's equally annoying when a figure becomes hard to get. You again, it's one of the gauntlets we run as collectors. You pay, I don't know, 30 or 40 quid more than you'd like to for a figure just to complete your set, because whatever reason. And then the next week they'll go, "We're going to re-release this figure."
Yeah. They've just done it with a lot of Lego sets, haven't they? A lot of Lego sets like that. Sometimes you can get Lego that retires. Years go by, your Lego collection's up to 700-800 quid. Then the next thing they remake it, they bring it out again, and you're like, whoa.
I mean, I had that with the Lightning collection. I mean, one of our good American friends, the Traveling Power Rangers fan, he picked me up a couple of figures, and obviously I had to pay a little bit more than I'd like to for them. And then obviously within a week of him sending them over to me, they released them in the UK for like 10 quid cheaper, and I'm like, for heaven's sake.
That was that Red Century by any chance?
No, that was the Mighty Morphin. The Red Century was easy to get, actually. It was the Mighty Morphin Pink and Yellow Rangers.
The thing is, it's like with every line, there's always that one that's difficult that goes, and it's like the Green Ranger in Power Rangers. It's never available anywhere. For what figure you look at, that figure is always gone. It's like I know the Green Ranger was popular and went on to become the White Ranger and all that, but even now, any figure that comes out of Power Rangers, that's the first you've got to try and get your hands on because it won't last. It'll just disappear.
Well, I do think I by accident I ended up with two of them, and I whacked the other one on eBay, and it just went like that. I was amazed. I'm like, nobody's gonna want this thing. Nope.
Yeah, they go fast, don't they?
It's weird, man. Probably Shabby could probably get this certain figure, probably like this, no bother. But I really want the trap jaw from the Revelations.
Yes.
But I ain't paying 95 fucking quid for it.
Definitely not.
I've been on eBay, and the cheapest I could get that figure was like 85 quid. You go into Amazon. Amazon don't sell it now. But you can get
Baz, I hate to tell you, Baz, but I picked that up for £5 in Smith's, that figure.
But you get from third-party sellers, and they're wanting anything for 95 to 150 quid for that one figure.
Is that how much they are now? Them trap jaw ones?
I don't know.
I saw it in Smith's, it was £5, so I thought, I'm picking that up. I like that for a £5.
As soon as it basically come on, I missed it. I didn't realise that Amazon had a pre-order for it, or I would have fucking pre-ordered it. So I missed out on that one, and then it was like, oh, somebody else has got it. But they instantly put it up to 95 quid. It's a 35 fucking quid figure. What the? But
this is something though that this community has created. This new value for new figures. It's something that we have done that ourselves, and we've burst this up. I'm so surprised that sometimes figures that are like a year, 2 years old can be worth more than a figure that's 40 years old. That's really rare. It's
exactly. Just to prove a point, I've just very quickly looked at the missing figure from the Stingray line I was just saying about phones, and the cheapest one on there at the moment is about 40 quid.
Wow. They go up.
So, yeah. But it's just interesting because it shows you how something's hold the value and then something just potluck, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's us went over the 2 hours. So if it's all right with you guys, I'm going to cry this one a night.
Don't blame me, buddy. Don't blame me.
Appreciate you coming on in. I appreciate you coming on, Si.
Yeah, thanks for having me. On.
It was just awesome to meet up at last weekend. I wish we could do it every weekend, but we can't.
Well, we'll do it again soon, pal. Before you know it, you'll be sick of the sight of me.
As we say, is that if everything goes to plan, hopefully we'll have another meet up in November.
Yeah, and we'll film it and stuff. You got put this on your channel so what people where we've been and stuff. Because like I said, I've never heard of Verrill Toy Fair and stuff, but apparently it's the biggest one in Scotland. So yeah, we'll have a look.
I know it used to be the biggest boot sale in Scotland. They used to do the boot sale on a Sunday, but I don't know if that boot sale's still on or not. But
couldn't tell you. And then tomorrow I'm heading off to but I've got to go a day early because the trains have been cancelled again. The trains are on strike, so I've got to head off to Birmingham tomorrow and not Saturday now, which I'm like, it's annoying.
And I do appreciate everybody in the chat.
Yeah,
so it was
been
nice
fun, guys. Hope everybody in the chat has a good night. We better get off to bed, Baz, because we'll be wanting to watch Power Rangers Cosmic Fury in the morning before the internet decides to ruin it.
Yeah, I hate that.
Well, I'll catch everyone later, and until next time, please stay safe and don't spend too much this weekend.
As always, catch you soon, guys.